Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hi.
So the plan for today was actually beautiful Katamari. I had it all I got it all set up and everything. And then and then my Xbox just would not turn on. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else. We are gonna do beautiful Katamari though. I'll figure something out.
Eventually.
Yeah, I'll get something figured out, guys. We'll get it figured out. Okay. How was the poking? I was sufficiently poked.
I was not poked.
Yeah, no, this was me and my grandma went to get our boosters. You gotta set the appointment ahead of time, so.
I was sleeping, so.
Yeah, Kayla was sleeping. Which, fair enough. So.
It's been a shitty week, y'all.
Yeah, so my 5G is boosted. We'll see how well that assists with the stream today. Oh, gosh. Alright, a little bit of housekeeping stuff. Tomorrow, we're gonna see how I feel tomorrow, I'll be honest. I don't know how I don't know how the booster's gonna affect me. Like, I know with Ashley, the first 2 shots didn't bother her one little bit. Third shot, she was just out cold.
Fucked.
Yeah, she was fine, it's just she was tired and very out of it. But if I feel good tomorrow, we're gonna start Stubbs the Zombie Rebel Without a Pulse. Because I'm tired of everybody telling me I need to play it, so we're playing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be was it the same? It was Pfizer. I am triple Pfizered up.
I got the Moderna, so I got the Dolly Parton one.
Yeah, that's true. You got that. They couldn't give me that because the amount of queer would just create a singularity and the world would just collapse in on itself.
I mean, I'm okay with dying.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. I don't need to die yet. I finally got that fucking promotion, so. Which is another thing. If we do get a stream in tomorrow, then tomorrow will, for the foreseeable future, it'll be the last time that we do a stream on Monday during that period of time, during that time slot, because I will be moving to Monday through Friday hours, and I may occasionally be able to crank out like a quick, short stream like after work, depending on how I feel. But so the retro stuff with me will move to Saturday. DisasterCast is going to stay the same. That's not changing.
We're never leaving.
Yeah, but the stuff with me will move to Saturday. Starting this coming Saturday, actually. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll be getting 3 streams this week. Like I said, it's just going to depend on how I feel tomorrow. But the good news is, if I don't feel great tomorrow, we'll start Stubbs the Zombie on Saturday. So that's the plan. So, okay. Anything you want to share with us?
I had a really shitty job interview, and I have been so stressed, it has affected my body so badly for the past 2 months.
Oh dear.
My period started and then it stopped.
That did happen. Kayla's period started and then it stopped.
And last month I didn't even have it. Stress
is a hell of a thing on people who menstruate. I was about to say, I almost got my words mixed up, and I almost said stress is a hell of a thing on people who masturbate. Which,
yes,
yeah, it's like that's not untrue.
Yeah.
I know sometimes whenever I'm like really stressed out, it's just like, all right. Stress is what makes something. Can confirm.
Yep.
Can confirm.
100%.
Yeah. Like super early in the morning, like I've woken up early because I'm so stressed out. I'm just like, all right, I need an endorphin boost.
Same.
So, you know. That's probably a little too much information for everybody. Sorry about that.
I was just talking about the effects of my period, so I mean, you talking about cranking one out, I don't think that's too bad.
Well, you know. People have limits, I guess. Got the last Moderna vax on the 17th of June. Yeah, so you'll have to wait to December for your booster.
Do we have to wait 6 months?
That is recommended, yes.
Oh.
It's recommended that your booster come 6 months after your first vaccine, or your second vaccine.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I got my second vax in April, so that basically I just squeaked in at the right period of time.
Well, I will do DisasterCast. I do actually have stories to talk about today. But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to bitch about this job interview I had.
Oh, before we do anything else, because you'd mentioned it, Kayla.
Yes.
And we need to address it.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to address the thing. Let me, hang on. I'm gonna pull up really quick. I'm gonna pull up the stream real quick. We're doing Slime Rancher today. Hope y'all don't mind. It's just gonna be something on the screen.
Who gives a shit?
Well, you know, I just like to make people aware of what's going on. So as something to be on the screen, we're gonna do Slime Rancher. That's the plan. Which is pretty chill, so. So one thing we do need to go ahead and get out of the way. I'm keeping an eye on the frame rate and stuff, so you go ahead and say what needs to be said.
Oh, so I have already mentioned it in the disaster tragedy topics. I will wait to talk about the Gabby Petito case for about a month, maybe a month and a half, until all the information is out and we have a definitive idea of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Alec Baldwin thing, we're gonna wait on talking about that one again so that we have all the information and I'm not doing 3 mini episodes about it. So we'll cover it. I'll talk all about it. I'll do all my research, but I'm waiting until everything is done first.
Yeah.
So they'll be talked about.
The Alec Baldwin thing, that is going to take a couple of months to get sorted out, everybody. So, you know, we're going to wait on that because it's looking more and more like this is a case of there's a lot of things that went into it, and there are definitely, I would say there are villains in this story, but they're not the ones you're thinking of. One thing I am going to go ahead and say, though, let me just get this out of the way. Until evidence comes up proving me otherwise, and because I'll readily admit whenever I'm wrong about something, but unless evidence comes up to specifically prove otherwise, as of right now, I want to go on record as saying that based on the information we currently have, Alec Baldwin didn't do anything wrong. Based on the information that we currently have.
Yeah.
This was a genuine accident on his part. Again, that is based on the information that we currently have. If something comes up to prove that
we'll amend the statement.
then I will amend that statement, but as of right now, I don't... Why did the Spider-Man in the alternate universe do better on his driver's test? Because naturally, he's a parallel Parker.
So the Gabby Petito thing, the only reason that we may get that one a lot sooner is because it takes place mainly in Florida, and as I have previously talked about, Florida has the Sunshine Law, which is any document entered into government record is made public record. Which is... It's why you hear all the Florida man stories, because...
Yeah, it's not that Florida's inherently worse than everywhere else, it's that Florida's more open about their shittery.
Yeah, exactly. So, I will talk about the Gabby Petito thing, I will talk about Brian Laundrie, but we're gonna wait. Okay?
I think that pretty well summarizes everything.
Okay.
So we're just gonna get that out of the way so that people don't start asking us about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying it now. Yeah, we'll cover it, but we're gonna wait for due diligence until all the information is out.
I hate the phrase due diligence.
I know, that's why I said it.
I know you did. All our dirty laundry's just hanging up there. I like how that was unintentional because it was still great. Well done, Jordan, with that unintentional joke.
We get to wait because it gets worse? Probably.
Yes, very good likelihood it will get worse.
Yep.
And when we actually do talk about the Gabby Petito case, I'm gonna be, whenever we get to the Dog the Bounty Hunter arc in the story, God. I will stop everything to shit talk Dog the Bounty Hunter. Yeah, because I don't like to, because Dog the Bounty Hunter is a piece of shit.
Yeah, whenever we get to that part of the story, I will not be telling that part of the story.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be all me.
That's gonna be all.
I'm gonna pause everything and step in on that one. So anyway, what are we talking about today, Kayla?
Well, I could either talk about my shitty job interview that raised so many red flags that the building should have been made out of them. But I also have the Humboldt Broncos bus crash, which included an ill-fated intersection, a guy with only 2 weeks of training, and misidentification apologies.
Oh, excellent.
I have the King's Cross station fire, which involves a dropped match, a newly discovered method called the trench effect, and at least 8 different similar fires that did not get out of control.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And the Ansett-ANA Flight 325, which involves thunderstorms being evil, a plane called John Oxley, and a crash that literally nobody noticed.
What?
Nobody knew the crash happened.
I'm interested in that one. We'll get to the venting. I promise, Dax. We will have plenty of time to get to the venting. Let's start with the crash that nobody noticed. Let's start off with that one because I'm curious now.
Okay. So the Ansett-ANA Flight 325 happened November 30th, 1961. It was a plane going from Sydney to Canberra, Australia. Mm-hmm. Operated by Vickers Viscount, whatever, propliner. And, of course, all 15 people on board were killed.
Naturally.
Of course. So the plane registered as John Oxley, which, it reminds me of the thing where people give their pets human names, mm-hmm. which is both cute and adorable, but also, like, slightly off-putting for some reason to me.
I didn't know that bothered you, pets with human names.
I guess it's weird. It's weird seeing something with floppy ears come running at me, possibly tripping over his own ears while I'm saying, "Come on, Robert, come on." It's weird. Ears that floppy should not be named Robert.
Well, technically, the ears aren't named Robert. Robert is the one named Robert.
I stand by my statement.
I mean, fair enough. I'm just pointing out, you know. Just making a little observation.
It's mainly just off-putting because I don't expect it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yep, we called the monkey jack. That's where my off-putting started. Because I used to watch the shit out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
You did? This is true. Can confirm. Can confirm.
Had a Jack Sparrow poster and everything. Although, I never really had a crush on Jack Sparrow. I had a crush on Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, sorry.
That's fine.
The plane took off from Sydney Airport on runway 7 at 7:17 p.m. local time for a flight to Canberra. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever.
But if I'm not, oh well.
Yeah, the plane was actually being leased from Trans-Australia Airlines in exchange for a DC-6B aircraft. And on board the plane was pilot Stan Lindsay, co-pilot Ben Costello, 2 air hostesses Eileen Keldy and Elizabeth Hardy, and 11 passengers.
Okay.
So the plane took off whenever there was a severe thunderstorm in the sky.
Like they were like, oh hey, look, thunderstorm. I'm gonna fly into it, bro.
Pretty much.
Why?
Because it was the 60s. They were probably on,
They were probably high on something at the moment.
Yeah, they were high on something.
Disclaimer, we do not actually think that everybody in the 60s was indiscriminately high. We are a comedy podcast, so this is what you're gonna get.
We didn't say we were a good comedy podcast.
We never said that. We just said that we were a comedy podcast. And even that's up for debate sometimes.
Yeah, let me tell you how all 15 of these people died.
Yeah, let's get into
That's
that.
the comedy of it.
Also, every time I pick up, I just want to say this is off topic, but every time I pick up a heartbeat in this game, I just start going, I hear your heartbeat to the beat of the drum. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry.
See, I have another song that pops into my head whenever I hear that.
What is it?
I'm looking for a heartbeat.
Ooh.
That's because I just listen to the GTA 5 radio all the time whenever I play that game.
Oh, yeah.
I love the radio station.
I didn't know you were that big of a GTA 5 fan.
It's the only GTA game I've ever played, and the only reason I started playing it was because my best friend in college, Jay, he bought it whenever it first came out, and I mentioned I had never played a GTA game, and he's like, here's the controller, and here's your character set to have a bazooka. Go have fun.
Yeah, go play.
Yeah.
Jay was really cool.
I love Jay. I still talk to him every now and again.
Awesome. I'm glad he's doing well considering everything with COVID and all that.
Oh yeah, he's doing great.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, Jordan, I used to just drive around listening to the radio. I took long ways to get to missions because I was in the middle of a really good song.
I am that shitty person. I am the one person. I'm not saying this to be like, oh, I'm a special snowflake. It's the reality of it. I was the one person who, whenever I listened to the radio stations in Grand Theft Auto, I would just listen to the talkie radio station. You, get back in there.
See, I listened to the rock station hosted by Kenny Loggins.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
But again,
you, eat that. Thank you.
But again, GTA 5 is the only GTA game I've ever played. And if I finally get a fucking job, hopefully Walmart hire me, then I can get the remastered version later.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're talking about something.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about things.
So there was a severe thunderstorm going on with heavy rain to the south of the airport. And there was also another thunderstorm to the north of the airport.
We could totally get Kayla into, like, San Andreas and just, like, give her a bazooka, let her run around and cause mayhem while I do a DisasterCast one time.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. So, above the Sydney airport, there was a cloud at 800 feet, but there wasn't any thunderstorm activity. So, they were going to run into the thunderstorm as they were leaving, but whenever they got to their destination, they were going to be out of it by then.
You have arrived at your destination. Screaming in the background.
You are on the
fastest available route!
You're on the fastest available route to enlightenment.
Oh, I was thinking about the one from Local 58.
I thought I was doing the Local 58 one.
Did somebody mention fastest available route to enlightenment? It mainly just says you're on the fastest available route, and then the fucking monster shows up. That freaked me out pretty. The thing that freaks me out the most, but I'm sorry guys, this is gonna be the tangent episode. I'm all over the place today. I'm very excited because I got my promotion, so I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But like that was the freakiest part about it for me, was the fact that it's like, make a U-turn, and then all of a sudden it says recalculating, and as he's driving, it says you're getting closer and closer. That freaked me out so much, and I was like, oh shit, how fast is this fucking thing?
The line that freaked me out the most was an 800 feet turn off your headlights.
Yeah, that's a pretty freaky
That got me.
But,
Read the pun.
Oh, sorry. Someone stole my mood ring. I don't know how I feel about that. Thank you, Shelly Monkey. Yeah, I did get a promotion. Yeah, I got, I've been promoted to training moderator, which basically means that I assist with training. It's a $3 an hour raise, so I'm super fucking excited about it.
Also, you don't talk to customers.
Yeah, also, I'm no longer talking directly to customers. I may occasionally take an escalation call.
But it's literally probably just going to be repeating what the associate said in a firmer tone of voice.
Yeah, and I'll have more leeway to say, I'm sorry that you're unhappy about that, but there's nothing that I can do. I want to talk to somebody higher. I'm gonna be very excited to be like, nope, I'm as high as you're gonna get.
Depends on what that person wants.
Depends on the situation. Depends on how unreasonable the customer's being. Which, you know.
It depends on the customer if they will be escalated or de-escalated.
Prepare for de-escalation. I gotta find an excuse to bring Sheriff Bird back.
I kept your business card at my desk the entire time I was there.
I appreciate that.
Hell yeah, you do. Exactly, Sholin Monkey. An apology is not an admission of culpability.
Yeah, it's just me saying, it's literally me saying, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
We've heard that enough times from our dad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry. I had to take another tangent on that one.
So, Flight 325 was observed to enter a cloud shortly after takeoff. And 5 other aircrafts...
It went up to the cloud. What the fuck even is the cloud? I don't know! Nobody knows what the cloud is!
I don't know. 5 other aircrafts took off while this meteorological situation existed, i.e. 6 planes took off into a thunderstorm.
There was a meteorological event. Do not go outside. Do not look at the sky.
We're just gonna be talking...
I'm just gonna make Local 58 references today. So, live with it, everybody.
We're gonna go on
Live with it and go watch Local 58, because it's really fucking good.
We're gonna go off on a lot of side tangents, and we're not gonna apologize for it.
Yeah.
It's been a fucking week.
Yeah, it's been a week, so...
So, Flight 325 was directed to take off and continue heading east towards the Tasman Sea until reaching an altitude of 3,000 feet, where it would turn around and fly west to the airport. The crew were to ensure they passed over the airport no lower than 5,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So they were gonna take off as they were gaining altitude over the sea, and then turn around over the original airport they left, just to make sure that they were high enough.
Yeah, you know, you gotta do some things every now and again, just check and make sure that you're high, you know, see if you can catch your own hand. Say something like, I don't know, serendipity, and see if it makes you just start giggling. You're talking about a different kind of high, I'm sorry.
I've only been high once, so...
I've never been high.
Don't take antidepressants afterwards. I made that mistake. Remember the DisasterCast where I could not get out of bed and you did not see me that entire day?
Yes, I do remember that.
That's because I took an edible the night before.
Huh. Well, aside from the antidepressants afterwards, how was the trip?
It was actually pretty fun.
Good to know.
It was nice because I was...
All of this is legal, by the way. We're talking about completely legal activities.
Yeah, this is completely legal.
Yeah, it was completely legal, so let's be very, very clear about that. We do not condone engaging in illegal activity. At least as far as you know, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the evening whenever Mom was visiting down at our aunt's. Mm-hmm. So I was down there and took the edible. And it was just late at night. We had a bonfire going. We were all just sitting around talking shit, and I was in one of those collapsible chairs, just leaned back, staring up at the sky, and just
kind of folding into the ground,
smiling and giggling.
Just kind of sinking into the floor.
Yeah, and it was nice.
Good.
It was awesome. And then I took my antidepressants afterwards, and I learned the hard way what happens when you do that.
I think I'd need something to take the edge off when I have to see my mother. Well, Kayla's actually the one who gets along with our mother, so...
Yeah!
I would most definitely need something to take the edge off if I was gonna be like, okay, yeah, let's go visit Mom.
Although, as the evening goes, I do have to have something to deal with it, because then we get into political discussions.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
The ironic thing about that side of our family is that even though they all voted for Trump, they also all immediately went out and got their vaccines as soon as the vaccine was available.
They all got their vaccines, and they were the ones I got the edibles from.
Yeah, so, you know.
I did not expect them to have any of that whenever I got there, but they just offered it whenever I talked about how stressed I was. And I'm just like, what?
That's a family. They notice you're stressed and they offer you legal substances to help relax you.
Yeah.
I like how we're taking a moment to go, legal! This was legal, by the way! Fucking NSA agents listening right now, it was legal.
Yeah.
Fuck off, bitches.
It's just, I don't expect that from the side who is so hardcore Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty surprising, not gonna lie.
Exactly! I'm just like, what? I should not be getting it from this side of the family. But no, they're like, yeah, here you go.
Might have to start coming around again. Just like, fucking give me some. This episode brought to you by the word legal. This episode brought to you by our legal department, who really wishes we would stop talking. I'm just kidding. We don't have a legal department.
Nah.
We had one, and then I killed him. So you know.
Poor Terry.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't kill him. What are you talking about? I don't know what's going on.
I just heard drunk instead of Trump, and somehow it still makes sense. Yes, it very much does. They get hammered.
Anyway.
They get hammered, I get high. And that's how a family works.
And that's how our families bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like, you're not wrong. I need a port collector on this motherfucker.
Oh yeah, thunderstorm.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was...
We're going off on a lot of side tangents, and no, we're not apologizing.
People seem to enjoy those episodes the most.
I don't understand why, but okay.
And then I killed him. Legally.
Legally.
I mean, he was asking for it.
Look at what he was wearing.
No, he actually did say, I'm tired of this life, please take me out.
How come whenever I say that, you never do anything?
I like you.
Ugh.
I'd be sad if you were gone.
You get over it.
I don't think I would. In all honesty. Yeah. In all honesty, I don't think that I would.
Aww.
Yes, it was Dream Warrior. Our legal department used to be headed up by Shadow, and then I fucking killed him. So you know.
You didn't kill him.
So anyway.
So 5 minutes after takeoff, the crew advised they had reached 6,000 feet, and about 3.5 minutes later, Sydney Air Traffic Control called Flight 325 for a request for information, but they didn't get a reply.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
So
they get a reply, it's just like, dude, I can see so many colors.
So, no further radio communication was received by Flight 325, and it never got to the airport, so that's whenever they realized, oh shit, something happened.
Oh, fart knockers. What? Kayla does not like my, Kayla does not like my jokes.
So an air search was planned to start at dawn to try and find out what the fuck happened. 9 minutes after takeoff, the outer section of the right wing of the plane had been torn away.
Oh. Excellent.
Yeah. And then the aircraft crashed into Botany Bay.
Botany Bay, what a hell of a name.
So whenever I mentioned the crash that no one noticed, it's because the rain, the thunder, and the lightning with the storm over Botany Bay was so intense that no one ever saw the aircraft or saw it crash into the water because so much other shit was going on with the weather.
You know what? I can totally believe that. I have, like, seen some shit go down after a big storm, and I was like, oh, fuck, I thought we were... Oh, shit, I thought that was thunder.
Yeah. Like, you hear a tree branch fall down, and you thought it was thunder.
Mm-hmm.
It happened at my college once. And I actually witnessed it as it was happening. I was just looking outside one day, because I was expecting the power to go out, because it always does.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking out the window to this little tree that we had near the road. And all of a sudden, I just saw the tree slowly going diagonal. And then I just hear it go thwomp. And I watched it go sideways.
Did the thwomp thwomp.
Yeah. I just watched it go sideways. And I'm like, huh.
That happened.
Then I picked up my phone and called campus security, saying like,
there's a tree on the ground.
And it's kind of in the road, so that might be causing trouble.
Yeah. That could be a problem. You should probably look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Pretty much.
Bye.
So yeah, no one saw the airplane go down into the water, is what I was getting to. And yes,
Yeah.
I did follow the angle of the tree with my head. Just
It's
like...
basically what you have to do at that point, whenever a tree starts going down.
Yeah.
And yelling timber. And also, you better move and you better dance. Giggity.
An accident investigator, Frankie, Frankie. Frankie said, the weather was so bad that this aircraft crashed in the middle of a major city without anybody having seen it or heard anything that would give a cause of alarm.
Wow. That's... Wow. He's like, what was that? Probably the wind.
It was the wind.
It was a gas line.
So, search and recovery. So...
Recovery of the plane, not of any bodies.
Oh, no. I think...
Well, maybe bodies, but not anybody who's alive.
Yeah. So, when it became clear that Flight 325 wasn't answering any calls, and then they never made it to the airport on their assigned time, they were like, oh shit, search and rescue needs to go out.
It's like, oh, fuck.
In the morning, though.
It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But after breakfast.
After breakfast.
It is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
Serving it up Gary's way. Bop!
So, they really raised the alarm after there was no report of an aircraft accident following the loss of contact with Flight 325.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of realized, oh, this probably crashed into the sea if no one's telling us anything happened or reporting, hey, there's a plane in the middle of my driveway.
Or maybe they all just really, really hated that pilot.
Maybe.
And we're just like, I ain't telling a damn soul.
Yeah, so at first light, 2 Douglas DC-3 aircrafts were basically searching over the Tasman Sea south of Sydney. And a helicopter and a whole bunch of other boats came out to also help searching the Botany Bay area.
How'd that go?
Well, soon after sunrise, the helicopter reported an item floating in Botany Bay. And the crew of the Air Sea Rescue launch went to the site and ended up finding a damaged piece of upholstery. So I assume like a seat cover or something.
Probably. They looked closer and realized, oh, that is actually a human back. I can see the back tattoo. Great.
You think that shit wouldn't have been eaten by fish? Come on.
I mean, maybe getting nibbled at. I don't know, man. Like, plane crashes are pretty fucking, like... That shit's legit, man. Like, the plane crashes don't fuck around is all I'm saying. Remember the story of the Andes? One of the guys, like, ended up with, like, a rebar pipe through his stomach, and he basically... And his buddy was like, oh, no, you're fine. Hey, look over there! And just grabbed it and ripped it out.
Yep.
That actually happened, everybody.
Yes, it did.
So
they continued searching after they confirmed that the upholstery was from the pilot's seat of that plane.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they kept looking, and they found some cabin furnishings, aka some stuff you'd find in the cabin of the plane, like
seats,
armrests, pieces of the carpet.
Oxygen masks, ironically.
Masks.
Irony in droves.
And they also found human remains.
Of course. Yeah. I imagine they're gonna find that at some point.
Yeah. At the south of the bay, the outer section of the right wing was found, and it showed the registration VHTVC. And it was protruding from the surface of shallow water, so it was just sticking up in the sand.
Oh.
Giving a nice little wave to the people.
Like, hi, everybody! Hi, people!
Yeah. They also found a large fuel slick in the center of Botany Bay, along with some of the scattered wreckage of the plane in the water, a little bit north of the right wing. So they're like, we got gas, we got seat covers, and we got bodies. I think I might know what happened.
I don't know, guys. I think there might have been a plane crash here.
Might have.
That or somebody very, very enthusiastically protested the in-flight movie.
I mean, there's only so many times when you can see Mrs. Doubtfire 2.
I don't think you can see Mrs. Doubtfire 2 a single time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was bad. I feel bad about that one, actually. I'll tweet at Zelda and apologize for it.
I don't think she's gonna give a shit.
She probably will not. That's the joke.
That's a woman who don't give a shit. And I love her.
My kind of woman.
Yeah. So the right tailplane was missing from the main wreckage, and Navy divers eventually found it down in the water close to where the outer section of the right wing was. So all of it ended up near one certain shore of the Botany Bay area, which gave them a really good idea as to where exactly the plane crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to find, like, numerous small items, again, to confirm that, like, the plane wrecked there. But as it was the 1960s, there was no flight data recorder or cockpit voice recorder.
Oh.
Yeah, so they couldn't, like, hear the pilot's last words to find out what the fuck happened. They were like, oh god, we gotta do actual investigating and shit.
Damn it, I hate it whenever the pilots just die and don't take a minute to go, oh my god, we're dying, and it's because of this specific issue.
Yeah. I mean...
It is a bit inconvenient, to be fair. To be fair.
Also, it took 12 years for the rudder of the plane to actually show up in shallow water in Botany Bay.
How deep was that fucking bay? How deep is a bay?
I don't know. I didn't do my research on that one.
Yeah, that's not what I was here to research.
Yeah.
How deep does a bay have to be for it to be considered a bay?
I don't fucking know. I'm not Google.
And if you named a bay after your girlfriend or your boyfriend, would you call it the Bay Bay?
So the pieces of the wreckage were laid out in a Sydney airport hangar, so they could find out what the fuck happened and, you know, play jigsaw with pieces of this plane.
Not like the I want to play a game. There is a slow-acting poison coursing through your vein. Not that kind of jigsaw. Everybody was already dead. They couldn't do that. Jigsaw showed up. He's like, I'm here to play a game. And one of the detectives was like, dude, no one's here for you to kill. And he's like, I do not kill anyone. And the detective went, no, you kill people. Fuck off.
You kill people?
Yeah, you kill people.
You very much kill people?
Yeah. You gotta do a whole disaster cast on why Jigsaw is bullshit. Not the movie. That shit was hilarious. The guy and his philosophy is all bullshit.
I love how they did that Jigsaw movie to try and establish a new continuity.
And then just completely, it said, nope, anthology instead.
Yep, we completely forgot about it and never acknowledged it.
I am okay with that anthology continuing. I know some people were like, oh, that was shit. I was just like, no, that was great. More.
It was hilarious.
Give me more. Yeah, I love bad horror movies.
It's the best ACAB movie I've ever seen.
Yep.
So the right tailplane and the outer section of the right wing, they saw that it had almost no damage on impact with the water, while the main body of the plane had extensive disintegration to suggest a high speed of impact.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that they now know that the right wing and the right tailplane fell off of the plane and kind of just blorped into the water.
Blort.
Blort. While the rest of the plane was yelling, oh fuck, oh shit, oh god, oh fuck, oh shit, and hit the water at a very high rate of speed.
Yep. The total catchment area of the bay is approximately 55 kilometers squared, which is 21 square miles. Despite its relative shallowness, the bay now serves as greater Metropolitan Sydney's main cargo seaport. Thank you, Sholin Monkey. I'm gonna call you Sholin Punky.
And yes, it's the Chris Rock one that we
we're talking about the Chris Rock
adore.
People are like, this is horrible, and I'm like, oh god, more. Like,
please.
They were talking in training before we got, like, you know, because we'd have a little briefing, like, at the start of the day before we get started, and somebody mentioned, yeah, I'm gonna go see the new Mike Myers movie, and the facilitator, the trainer had seen it, and he was like, it's shit. And they're like, oh, that makes me sad. I went, that does not make me sad. That makes me want to see it even more. I love a bad horror movie. That is the best kind of entertainment. I think a bad horror, as much as I do love good horror, because as you guys have probably noticed, I'm a very big fan of good horror, but I will openly say bad horror is more entertaining.
Spiral, from the Book of Saw, was the first movie we saw together
in theaters since COVID started, and my god, it was a great place to start.
It was awesome. And then we saw Candyman.
Yeah, I liked Candyman.
I liked it.
Felt like certain things were a little bit too
heavy-handed?
Hammered home. Yeah, but I enjoyed it.
I like the puppets.
I felt like some things could have been more subtle, but that's not necessarily because, like, oh, get it out of my face. That was more because I've seen Jordan Peele's other stuff, and I know he co-wrote it, and I'm so used to him having, like, a lot of subtle things that I'm still picking apart even on my fifth. I will rewatch Get Out for, like, the 6th time and still be picking apart new things.
Yeah.
Get Out was fucking amazing. It took us, like, 3 watches before I looked at you and said, oh my god, The Blind Guy is a play on that shit that some liberals say whenever they go, I don't see color.
Yep.
And, like, we both looked at each other like, oh my god, this is such a great movie.
So after they found that they actually didn't find any evidence of any fault or mechanical failure that might have existed prior to the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So the spar in the right wing, which is basically, like, the main structural member of the wing, it's the skeleton of the wing, it had broken inside the wing, and the weight just kind of took the wing off.
Huh. It's just like, I'll take that.
Yeah. And the outer section of the wing had been torn away by the airstream. So the skeleton of the wing just went, I'm out.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yep. And the rest of it just went, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this.
I guess I'm leaving too.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, so the wing had been overloaded while the aircraft was flying at a high speed. And what this basically means is the lower flange of the wing had failed to move upward as the plane was trying to get altitude.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't move up, so instead it was just getting a high rate of speed of wind hitting it without any way to counteract it or make use of the wind.
Oh.
So it was just hitting it.
I keep hitting it, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah, and then it fell down.
When I'm trying to fix something.
Yeah, and then it fell down.
We tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
Yeah, and the right tailplane had fallen off after the wing had, because it had to pick up all the... It had to basically try and do whatever the right wing was supposed to do, but then it was like, no.
Yeah, I am not emotionally equipped to handle this kind of a burden. See you later, Panda Brady. Thank you so much for stopping by.
And then that fell off too.
Yeah. It fell apart under pressure, you could say. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. You're all welcome for your daily reminder that David Bowie and Freddie Mercury did a song together and it was fucking amazing.
So they think that the plane got so much more wind speed than what it was used to whenever it was climbing altitude, because the 2 thunderstorms were about 6 miles apart from each other. So that caused a whole bunch of turbulence in the clean air between them, because thunderstorms have a whole bunch of wind and shit going in them. So
No, I thought that would be like optimal flying conditions as a thunderstorm.
Yeah, so the 6 miles between the two thunderstorms, really fucking windy. Not supposed to fly a plane through that.
Basically, the two storms were kind of playing badminton with the plane.
Yes.
We think it was higher wind speed. We think the higher wind speed was because it was windy.
You joke, but yeah, that's literally it.
That is the kind of shit they have to write out on government forms like that. You do kind of have to state the very obvious things. Like,
This was published in a scientific report.
you do kind of have to state the very obvious things in those type of reports.
Yep. So basically, the crew was flying between these two thunderstorms. They encountered a whole bunch of turbulence that they could not handle, and they tried to overcompensate. It did not work. Right wing fell down.
Right wing fall down.
Right wing fall down, and then plane fall down.
Plane go down the hole.
I don't know why that one got me.
I like that was the thing that got you today.
I don't know why. So, a board of accident inquiry was appointed that same year to investigate all aspects of the plane. And again, they just came to the same conclusion after 24 days of investigating of
Plane fall down the hole.
plane fell down the hole.
Also, Jordan, you shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as a dated reference when it's Animaniacs.
Jesus Christ. So, the inquiry board gave strong recommendations. They didn't
I mean, it's gonna do that, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't make any new rules or implement any safety protocols. They're just like, hey.
Sounds like the CDC.
Pretty much. They're just like, hey, whenever there's big meteorological events happening, talk with air traffic control a lot more, or maybe just don't go.
Yeah. Just like, next time that you want to fly out into the middle of a meteorological event, how about you don't?
Also, they recommended that all Australian airliners were required to be equipped with a weather radar by June 1st of 1963.
Did that happen?
Yes, it did.
Oh, wow! But what about their freedom to just...
It's Australia.
to throw the plane down? Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Australia doesn't have any freedom.
Yeah, remember they had one mass shooting and they immediately enacted strict gun control laws.
What's that like, whenever a government just immediately responds to a catastrophic event?
It means that instead of shooting your wife, you beat her with your beer bottle.
I was gonna say, well, actually, Australia wouldn't know, because they've been having some issues with the whole COVID thing, too, so...
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some, I guess. I forgot that I'm full. There you go, guys. Take that.
Alright, so that's, Ansett-ANA Flight 325. I hope we learned something. What do you think we learned, Bird?
Storms are windy, and you should not fly into them.
There you go.
I mean, I feel like that actually is the lesson that we learned here today.
I mean, Jordan put it correctly. Our advice going forward is to not fly in storms. Fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. So, do we want the Humboldt bus crash? Do we want the King's Cross station fire? Or do we want to hear about my job interview?
Let's do the bus crash next.
Okay. Sorry, I needed water.
How dare you need to hydrate? Is your hydration reminder, everybody, drink water.
So this took place... Where is it? The intersection of the Saskatchewan Highway 35 and Saskatchewan Highway 335 near
Ooh,
Saskatchewan, Canada. Yep.
Ooh, Canada.
Yep.
All right.
This took... Fuck off. Sorry about that.
How dare you.
So yeah, this actually happened April 6, 2018.
So not super long ago.
Yeah, not super long ago.
Definitely not long ago in a faraway land of ancient Greece.
Yeah, so I was actually inspired to look this up after watching an episode of... Well, I was actually watching a clip from an episode of House on YouTube, and I was looking at the comments section, and someone mentioned this disaster that happened where it was similar to what was happening in the clip.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, let me look this up. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, well, this is going on DisasterCast.
Because as is usually the case, the real-life story is actually even more horrifying than the fictional retelling.
We're gonna get an apology from a coroner later in this...
Holy shit!
Later in this story, so yeah.
Oh, that's spicy.
Izzy has a question.
Okay.
Off topic, but does Slime Rancher have a storyline?
Kinda, not really. It's more just like... As you progress, you meet more people. It's mainly, the story's mostly just told through letters.
So, it's not like, what's that one that just came out for the PS5?
I don't know.
The Bug Snacks, that's it.
Oh, no, it's not like that.
Oh.
I mean, there kind of is a story, it's just not it's not front and center.
Game Theory will make a video on it.
This game's been out for a long fucking time. They're gonna need to get on it.
That's never stopped them before.
That's true. I have a complicated relationship with Matt Pat.
Same. Anyway. So Saskatchewan Highways 35 and 335 meet at a right angle intersection near the village of Armley?
Armlay. Omelette du fromage.
Well, see, I don't know how to pronounce it because it's Canadian and therefore everything is slightly French. And you say sorry afterwards. Please don't go away, any Canadian viewers. Please don't.
I don't think we have any Canadian viewers. Unless B is secretly watching.
I don't know.
Unless the entire cast of Winona Earp secretly watches this show. I don't think we have any Canadian viewers. Also, 59 minutes and 3 seconds before I made a Winona Earp reference. And I killed her with it.
Yep. So, traffic on Highway 35 runs north to south with the right-of-way at the intersection and a speed limit of 60 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
While the traffic on Highway 335 goes west and east with a speed limit of 60 miles an hour, dropping at 35 miles an hour whenever they hit the intersection. So 35 has the right-of-way and can keep going their main speed, but 335 has to slow down.
Oh, fuck, I shot out all my tabby ports. Okay, so 35 has the right-of-way, 33 needs to slow the fuck down.
335.
335, got it, okay.
Okay.
I will forget this later, but I got it right now.
Yeah, the 335 way actually has stop signs and flashing red lights to tell you to slow the fuck down. And yes, that is gonna come into play.
Canadian check. Hey, I've never had maple syrup. How does it taste?
Oh, Jesus.
How do you know whenever there's a Canadian at the party?
They talk about hockey?
No. They'll apologize for not telling you sooner.
Yeah.
I love my Canadian friends, to be clear. I have friends who are Canadian, and I love them very, very much. But I also make these jokes directly to them. I made a whole fake Sarah McLachlan style commercial once about the like an ASPCA style commercial about the horrific conditions of Canadians where they often end up freezing out in the winter because they try to hold a door open for somebody and they keep trying to let the other one go in first, and they both just stand there until they freeze to death.
Izzy, we all prefer friends who can laugh at their own stupid stereotypes. That's why me and Bird make Southern jokes all the time.
Uh-huh.
Oi! Let me get comfy.
When I say I made a Sarah McLachlan, I mean I did it live in a group chat, in a group Zoom, so as far as I know, it wasn't recorded.
Well, you need to redo the commercial then.
If you're cold, they're cold. Bring your Canadians inside. Hi, I'm Sarah McLachlan. Playing the arms of the angel in the background.
Currently have nothing else going on in my acting career right now.
I mean, she's making bank off of doing ASPCA commercials, and she gets to just sit in front of a camera and pet a dog all day. I'd be like, fuck acting.
She could record 10 commercials in an hour.
Yeah, and she makes fucking bank off of it. Go Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah.
You get that cheddar, girl.
So anyway, the signal lights and stop signs were actually installed at the intersection after a fatal traffic collision in 1997, where 6 members of a family from British Columbia were killed. So they put those stop signs in there because one family already died.
That is usually when a stop sign goes up, is when somebody dies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we've seen it. So this intersection has a history of people just being unalived there.
Wow! I love the way you phrased that. Becoming unalived.
Yeah. So, the crash. So, according to the collision report of what happened, there was a coach bus carrying the Broncos hockey, young Broncos hockey team, and a semi-trailer truck were both heading towards the intersections of Highway 35 and 335 at about 5 p.m.
Now remember, 335 is the one who needs to yield.
Yes.
35 has the right-of-way.
Yes, 335 needs to yield. So, Jaskirat Singh Sidhu was traveling westbound on 335 in his transport truck carrying 2 trailers loaded with peat moss. And he was going between 86 and 96 kilometers an hour.
Right.
Which is close to the 60 miles an hour.
Right.
The bus was carrying 29 members of the Humboldt Broncos hockey team going northbound on 35 between 96 and 107 kilometers an hour. So a little bit over the speed limit, but not much.
And if you were in that bus, you could hear Shorzy yelling, "Give your balls a tug, you tit fucker!" That is a Letterkenny reference. If you've not seen Letterkenny, what are you doing with your life?
You know, I told James I had started watching Letterkenny, and he said, I told you about that years ago whenever we started dating. And I'm like, oh.
Like, well, I needed another man to tell me about it.
No, I told him, honey, if you ever want to get me to do something, you need to have me think it's my idea.
Yeah.
Bird learned that the hard way. You will learn it the same.
I'm going to convince you that there is a show on Netflix that you need to see. Jordan, DM me later. There's a show on Netflix I found that you are going to absolutely fucking love.
Okay, then. So, at the intersection, Highway 335 has the stop sign, which is oversized, and attached to a post with a blinking red light right above it. You cannot fucking miss this thing.
Oh, that's cute.
Sidhu failed to heed the stop sign. And again, Broncos bus was on the highway that had the right-of-way. They could keep going. Sidhu's truck was completely blocking the intersection when the Broncos bus slammed into the lead trailer at 5 p.m. So, Sidhu did not stop as he should have, and he ended up right in the middle of the highway intersection where the hockey team bus crashed into it. Because they were still going their high rate of speed because they had the right-of-way. They couldn't... Buses cannot stop on a dime.
No, they cannot. Yeah, Letterkenny's a town in Canada. It's also a TV show on Hulu that is really, really good.
Has what, like 10 or 11 seasons?
Has quite a few seasons, and it's not like one of those where it gets a lot of seasons and it gets really shitty. It is one of those rare shows that gets better as it continues.
Can confirm. It's good.
Can't confirm. One of my favorite episodes is the time whenever they all get together and beat the shit out of the alt-right. It was really good. It was this, they were showing up to protest, okay, I'm gonna give the synopsis really quick, but they were showing up to protest that they were changing the name of the junior hockey team, because the original was, like, an indigenous thing. So, you know, it's something that we've seen before. Everyone in town was totally cool with it, and was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good plan. And it was the indigenous tribe in the area that was mainly pushing for it. So everybody else was like, yeah, sure, that's cool. We're fine with that. And then the alt-right showed up, and they called themselves the hard right, which is great. And so they're like, yeah, so we're going to protest all this stuff. So the indigenous tribe shows up, and they're run by Tanis, and she is she's the best. Tanis is the best part of... Well, there's a lot of really great parts about that show.
Anyway.
Tanis is really good at it. Anyway, so they're there, and they're just like, look, nobody had a problem with this until you guys showed up. He's like, yes, that's right. The hard right, coming to a town near you. It's a guy who's clearly meant to be Nick Fuentes. He's like, the hard right, coming to a town near you. And she's just like, no, this ain't a counter protest. Ain't nothing peaceful going to be going on down here. And the hard right dude goes, we don't practice violence. And Ted's just goes, we do. She's just like, dip it, we do. And then the rest of the gang shows up and they just beat the hell out of the alt-right. It's great. Made me very happy.
Every Nazi needs a good punch to the face.
Agreed.
So anyway, so it was a clear sunny day and nothing obstructed Sidhu's view of the stop sign.
He just didn't fucking stop.
Yeah, the sun was not in his eyes, he was not affected by any inclement weather, and the intersection was clearly visible before the collision, and he clearly passed signs indicating that an intersection with a stop sign was ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So he literally just did not stop. And he also wasn't under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. He wasn't distracted by a cell phone. He claimed that he was distracted by a tarp that had come loose on the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can still push my brake down, though.
Yeah. Glenn Dorrickson, the Broncos bus driver, he started applying his brakes. He saw that shit was about to happen. But again, buses do not stop on a dime, so he couldn't avoid the collision.
Yep.
Yeah, the bus struck the truck's front trailer in a T-bone. Oof. And of course, the bus got massive damage at the front. The driver and 13 passengers on the bus were killed immediately.
Yeah, because think about buses. Seatbelts are not enforced on buses.
No, they're not.
Why don't we do that?
I don't know. So, remember, the bus was carrying 29 members of the Broncos hockey team. So, 13 of them are already dead. And these are teenagers. Like, young men.
Oof. Sorry, B-Train.
Yeah,
R.I.P. B-Train.
2 others eventually ended up dying from their injuries at the hospital. One of the survivors actually described how the bus broadsided the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And a father of one of the victims said that they pulled up and saw the front of the bus was gone.
Fucking hell. So how many survivors were there?
It looks like about 13.
Out of how many people were involved in that?
Well, there were 29 members originally on the hockey team bus. I assume plus the driver, so that's 30.
Oof.
Driver and 13 died immediately, plus 2 later.
God.
So about 15, 14?
God damn.
Yeah.
Bird, this is one of those times where never get off the bus does not apply. Agreed. Can't confirm.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see, the normal seating plan for the bus was that rookies were in the front and veterans were in the back.
Oh. Oh, no.
Yeah, and a survivor, Caleb Dahlgren, recounted later that the bus had the 18-year-olds up front, 19-year-olds in the middle, and 20-year-olds in the back.
Oh,
So the youngest died.
Oh. That's sad.
Yeah, the
Alexa, play Despacito. Sorry.
I'm trying to tell you, like...
I know, you are, like, trying to tell me a very serious story, and I'm just sitting here being a shithead.
That's DisasterCast! Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. DisasterCast!
So the force of the impact actually had both vehicles come to rest off the highway in the northwest corner, both of them lying on their sides. Yeah.
Shit got fucked up.
Okay, so according to the RCMP, bus carried 29 people, including the driver. 14 died initially, 15 suffered injuries, 3 of them were critical. And 2 of the critically injured died later in the hospital, so 13 people survived from that bus.
That is not good odds.
Nope.
And your likelihood of surviving depended on how old you were.
Pretty much.
Oof. Oof.
No, my
As
nose
Julia
is
would
itchy.
say, oof maron.
Also that, but my nose is itchy.
Oh, okay. Well, you
My eyes are itchy. I hate everything!
Allergies getting to you? Do you need an allergy pill?
Yes.
Okay, I got one. Let me get that for you.
I had to debate with
I keep medicine on hand, so I got some Vicks Vapo Rub too if you need that.
Ugh.
Hey, don't knock it out. Some of that shit on my chest has really helped my allergies. Well, stuffiness more than anything else.
I hate that my nose is the only part of my fat ass body that runs.
We're stopping for a water break. Hydrate, everybody. This is your hydration station break.
Didn't you used to have a
Hydration vacation.
random pop-up for that?
I actually do have I do have an automated command that goes every hour, telling everybody to stand up and stretch and move around.
I remember that.
It's still there.
I just never see it.
It's there.
Maybe I just ignore it.
We don't condone violence unless it's performed against Nazis. I condone violence against Nazis and TERFs.
Fair enough.
And you know, the bad thing that we don't talk about. That bad group that we don't talk about that are trying to ingratiate themselves into the LGBT community, and we do not want them. Fuck off. What you are doing is illegal. We condone violence against those people.
So the STARS team dispatched 3 helicopters to the sea.
Okay? The STARS team?
STARS.
Like Resident Evil stars?
Shock Trauma Air Rescue Society.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense.
But I wanted to say STARS because I was like, yeah, is he gonna get it?
Yeah.
Is he gonna get it?
He got it.
Later, Reaper. Have fun
Bye,
with
Reaper.
D&D.
Yeah, enjoy D&D.
Yeah, so they sent 3 helicopters to assist with transporting the victims because, highway's kind of blocked right now.
Yeah, it's like, send an ambulance. Put a pin in that.
Yeah. And, ironically enough, the truck driver was not at all injured in this whole thing.
The one who didn't give the right of way was not injured?
Yeah, the one who did not...
The one who caused this was not injured.
who caused this...
Ain't that some shit?
Yep.
Ain't that some fucking shit, y'all? That is how that shit goes.
Yeah, police did detain, but then later released the truck driver.
Ain't that some shit?
Yep. And the RCMP stated the driver was being provided with mental health and wellness assistance.
Look, I'm not gonna say that a person who did a wrong thing does not deserve to, like, you know, basically make up for it. So I don't want anyone to think that. And I will acknowledge it's wrong of me to wish harm on a person because he didn't do it, like, maliciously. He was just being really stupid, and we don't execute people for being stupid. I'll just admit that I'm just annoyed.
I did go to Texas and say
Yeah,
that.
I'm just annoyed. Anyway.
Izzy has a question.
Izzy, I'll fine, I'll fucking watch Hellsing Abridged. I'll fucking watch Hellsing Abridged. Eventually.
Eventually.
If I'm knocked out my ass by the vaccine tomorrow, I'll watch it. I'll just watch the whole fucking thing tomorrow.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay.
You sure about that?
Izzy just wants to share something that they know I would really, really like, and they just want me to watch it so I can enjoy it, so...
Hey,
I'm sorry I raised my voice at you, Izzy.
Yeah,
Dad's sorry that he raised his voice at you.
Like, sarcastic sorry, or actually mean it sorry?
Dad's genuinely sorry that he raised his voice at you.
Okay, so not our dad kind of sorry.
Yeah, no, not our dad kind of sorry. Dad is genuinely sorry that he raised his voice, Izzy.
Oh. So the team chaplain, Sean Brandow, arrived at the scene of the accident right after the collision, and he attempted to offer prayers and aid.
Thoughts and prayers are like actual aid.
Yes?
Okay.
I mean, he's a chaplain, so thoughts and prayers actually is part of his deal,
Okay.
but he was also trained in first aid, so he can help a little bit.
Okay, alright, you know what, yeah. It's like, alright, sure, I guess. Yeah, that's fine, Izzy. I promise to take into account the time period and in which it started.
So, families and friends were encouraged to gather at the Nipawin.
Families and friends were encouraged to come out and then to, like, chip in. Hey, help move your family member's dead body, please.
And you better hope it's the right one you're moving.
Yeah. If not, then that counts towards your community service. Like, all Canadians are required to do, like, 50 hours of community service a year, right? That's totally a thing, right?
I don't know, let's ask the Canadian viewers we don't have.
Yeah! Let's ask the Canadian viewers that we just ran off. Hey, Cat Burrell, hit me up. Is there like a minimum amount of community service that you're all expected to perform?
Emily Andrews, DM me.
Yeah, Emily Andrews, get back to us. You got my DMs. I've been in your DMs before. Not in a creepy way. I've been in your DMs before, but not in a creepy way. It's just
I think
hi.
she's aware.
I'm not one of the creepy ones, I promise. to both you and the cat. I'm not one of the creepy ones, I promise.
Izzy says, I take a family member's severed arm and slap the person who suggested that. I mean, hell yeah.
I gotta go implore! Yes!
Okay.
It's a good thing. I did it good. Do you guys see that? I got that gold plur. I smacked that motherfucker right in the face with my phallic object, and then he gave me gold. That's how you do it.
So families and friends were directed to the Nipawin they were directed to a church. They were told, hey, go to the
Camp
church.
Ottawa, we hold you in our hearts, and when we think about you, it makes me want to fart.
Sure. And one father actually said, quote, you're at the church and most of the families are there. All the veterans' parents start getting phone calls. We got your boy, come to the hospital. You get a little deeper, and at the end of the night, it's mostly the rookie's parents there. And then, of course, the police had a conversation with us.
Yeah, and then the police have to come in and go, okay, so,
Technically, they're at the hospital. But they're not at the part you want to see them at.
But they're not at the part that you would like for them to be in. Ugh, that's gotta suck, having to give that news.
Yeah. Let's see.
Ah, it got serious for a moment there, everybody. Sorry about that.
So apparently the situation was so bad that the first responders, the fire departments, the fire department personnel, and the ambulance personnel who were there, they had to end up getting psychological counseling and help,
Oof.
Because it was bad.
That sounds pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah. So the RCMP stated that they wouldn't release the names of the dead until the families were notified. Very good.
It's like, good job! Basic Empathy 101. You passed. Well done. Golf claps for you.
Yeah. So, the head coach and general manager, Darcy Hagen, was confirmed dead. Team captain Logan Schatz, confirmed dead. Bus driver and 2 radio station employees, announcer Tyler Bieber and
Statistician?
Yeah. Brody Hines,
The math guy,
died as well. Let's see. And 4 days after the crash, athletic therapist Dana Bronze, the only woman on the bus, did die from head injuries sustained in the collision. So yeah, a lot of funerals and memorials were held.
I imagine so.
So, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP,
The Mounties.
the Mounties, they planned a news conference about the investigation, and they released a statement April 18th, 2018, that they would not announce any charges related to the crash.
Did that mean they weren't going to have any charges, or they just weren't going to publicly announce any charges?
They weren't going to publicly announce it. They were only going to answer general questions about the collision.
Okay, because the wording on that is super important.
Yep. Yeah, so they stated that the truck driver was immediately taken into custody and released after the accident. And the driver has been in constant contact with the Mounties since the collision.
Mm-hmm.
They did investigate the engine computers for both vehicles, the driver's logs, and the driver's experience.
Right.
And it was stated during the press conference that the truck driver was in the intersection at the time of the collision, but they wouldn't talk about the speed of the crash. So they were only giving, like, very vague...
Yeah, they were pretty tight-lipped on everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, you know, sounds about right.
Yeah, so they returned the next day to do additional analysis and testing with reconstructionists and officers.
Mm-hmm.
And news release from the police stated the investigators would be using vehicles similar to those involved in the collision to allow the reconstructionists to take further measurements and analyze site overlines. So they were going all out to reconstruct this.
They were like, by God, we will find an answer for this.
Yep. Canadians, eh?
They don't do shit halfway, I'll give them that.
So, they did over 50 interviews, they had over 5,500 photos to document the scene and analyze it, and they also used 3D technology and drones to... They were getting all of this from every single angle. I'm starting to think it was more like, this is the most interesting thing that's happened here in a very, very long time, and by God, we will investigate it. We need to justify our budget.
Gotta justify our budget to the higher-ups.
Yep. So that we can keep it coming.
Oh, fair enough. Well, it depends on what you do with all this information.
Yeah. Kelsey Fiddler, who was present at the intersection at the time of the crash, was basically a key eyewitness, and she stated that she had to swing her vehicle away seconds before the crash to avoid being sandwiched between the two of them.
Holy shit! Yeah. Good on her. Nice driving, Kelly.
See, the thing was, the tractor trailer was coming from the westbound stop sign on Highway 335. She was at the eastbound stop sign.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, she was at the stop sign trying to make a turn onto 35, and she saw the bus approaching at what seemed like regular highway speed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whenever she noticed that the tractor trailer was still just
like
hammering its way on there.
Yeah, she was like looking at it going, that thing doesn't look like like it's slowing down.
Yeah.
And then she went, oh shit!
And she was also one of the first people to call 911 as soon as it happened.
Good for her.
Yeah. So, criminal legal proceedings.
Oh, here we go. Getting to that shit.
So, July 6, 2018, about 2 months after it happened, RCMP held a news conference to announce the arrest and charges in relation to the collision. So, driver 29-year-old Jaskarat Singh Sidhu of Calgary was charged with 16 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 13 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm.
Yeah, sounds about right.
He only had 1 year of experience driving trucks and only 2 weeks of training on the vehicle he was driving at the time of the crash.
For fuck's sake, it's always a lack of... It's good to know that no matter what country you go to, that is some shit you're always gonna have to deal with. Motherfuckers do not train their truck drivers well enough, and those people are literally the lifeblood of our supply lines in pretty much every single country, and you cannot take the time to adequately train them before you send them on their way, knowing that if they get into an accident, not only does that tie up the supply line in that area because there's a giant fucking accident going on, but also there's a possibility they could be seriously injured or killed, and then you have one less driver! I have strong feelings about the trucking industry, everybody.
I noticed.
In today's episode of things people didn't realize Bird was very passionate about.
So yeah, he had only been driving that truck for 2 weeks.
Right.
He had only been driving it on his own for 2 weeks. So he was released on $1,000 bail with a number of conditions, aka house arrest, follow a curfew. He was under a driving ban.
He was under a driving ban.
And he had to surrender his passport.
Oof.
What the shit?
The angry fairies. They're hungry.
Okay.
Ow, asshole.
So, in October 2018, Sukhmander Singh, the owner of the involved trucking company Adesh Dale Trucking Limited, was charged with violating federal and provincial safety regulations, which included 2 counts of failure to require a daily log, 2 counts of keeping multiple daily logs for a single day, 3 counts of failure to monitor the driver's compliance with relevant regulation, and, excuse me, 1 count of failure to have or follow a written safety program.
And also, we're pretty sure he jaywalked at some point. We'll just throw that in there, too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, a court date was set for November 9th.
How'd that go?
Let's see.
So, let's find out.
On January 8th, 2019, Sidhu pleaded guilty to all counts, and he underwent sentencing hearings later that month, hearing from 90 victim impact statements. Yeah, a forensic report...
I'm gonna tell you this right now, y'all. Like, this is just gonna be kind of a side note. If somebody driving for a trucking industry causes an accident that causes you to be either injured or a family member to die or be injured, you fucking show up for that impact statement, because those trucking companies will pay out the fucking nose for that shit.
Yeah.
Because they know they're supposed to be training their drivers.
Very true.
I mean, I'm not saying that as in, oh, all these guys were here for money. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they showed up because they knew that it was the only way to make sure that this company was held accountable.
Very true.
Or somewhat accountable, at least.
Very true.
Anyway.
So very true. So, a forensic report found that he did not apply the brakes upon approaching the intersection, and that his view was completely unobstructed with plenty of advance warnings. So...
Is this the moment whenever somebody said, was he drunk?
That was the moment someone asked whenever he was drunk, but, you know, immediately following the accident, of course, the police do, like,
yeah, they
drug
do
and alcohol
breathalyzers.
checks.
Yeah, they do drug and alcohol tests on everybody.
To prove that he was completely unobstructed by anything. He just didn't give a fuck.
I mean, he could have gotten into the fixed stare thing, you know, where you just kind of zone out.
Yeah, it may have been the fixed stare. It may have been he was trying to make a deadline.
That too, like, you know, deadlines are basically... is our god in the supply industry. And it's really shitty. It's really shitty.
That's why you get your Amazon packages thrown at your door.
Uh-huh.
So, on the final day of hearings on January 31st, Sadu did express remorse and apologized.
I'm sure he did!
Yeah. The Crown requested a 10-year prison sentence, with each count to be served concurrently, followed by a 10-year driving ban. And the judge, Inez Cardinal, delivered her sentencing decision on March 22nd, 2019. Concurrent sentences of 8 years.
Concurrent, by the way, means that you're basically doing a 2-for-1 on your sentence. Like, if I were to get, like, 8 years for something and then 2 years concurrently, that means that the first 2 years of my 8 years takes care of that 2-year sentence. Whenever it's one after the other, that's called consecutively.
Yep.
So if I were to get 8 years and then I was to serve 2 consecutively, then I do my 8 years time and then I do another 2 years for the other thing. Just clarifying that for folks who are wondering what is concurrently. It means they run concurrent to one another.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to get that out.
So, Russell and Raylene Harold, the parents of Adam Harold, filed a lawsuit on behalf of their late son, naming the truck driver, the trucking company, and the bus manufacturer, asking for unspecified damages and court orders, including one that require all buses carrying sports teams in Saskatchewan to have seat belts and other safety devices.
Yeah.
Which I believe they won? Maybe. It doesn't specify.
Yes, Izzy, so side by side, not ass to mouth.
Yes. Ryan Strzenicki, a survivor of the bus crash, he filed a $13.5 million lawsuit for damages against the truck and bus drivers, the trucking company, and the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and several others. No idea what happened with that. So, of course, in the aftermath, numerous dignitaries and politicians in Canada, expressed their condolences. They're like,
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. U.S. President Donald Trump phoned Justin Trudeau and subsequently tweeted to offer his condolences to the victims and their families.
And the victims and their families said, shut the fuck up, delete your Twitter.
Go make your own social media?
Yeah, go make your own social media saying that it's for open, free, and honest communication, and then put a rule in the terms of service that you're not allowed to use the social media to make fun of the social media.
Yep.
That shit was funny as fuck.
Uh-huh.
I must say, I do feel very owned, everybody. Any right-wingers who are hate listening to us right now, I do feel extremely owned. Please continue using that service and not being on Twitter anymore.
Please.
Also, continue talking about how you're not going to vote anymore because it's all rigged. I feel I would be so owned if you guys didn't vote. All of our time spent cheating will have been for absolutely nothing. I will feel very owned if you don't vote.
So the SJHL, basically the Hockey League playoffs, were suspended immediately following the crash. And the board of directors unanimously decided on April 11th to allow the 2 remaining teams in the playoffs to play for their league championships. So, basically the competition that the bus was heading to, they're like, oh, okay, let's pause everything for just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll allow the 2 other teams who did show up without any...
The 2 teams that were kind enough to not get into fatal accidents.
Yeah, let's have them play their game. Humboldt schools did leave early that day, and then they did reopen. The classes were not expected to be in session, as instead they had crisis workers present to help out with the people who knew some of the victims. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah.
Better than what we get.
Yeah. Hey, come here.
Ah!
Dislodge thy native. Oh, shit. Get back here. Come here.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get rid of this tar. I'm trying to get rid of the tar, baby.
Okay.
Away you go. Okay, if it had, like, landed on that island and just hung out there, I'd have been like, I hate you so fucking much.
So, let's get to the misidentification real quick.
Ooh! Oh, I bet this is gonna be fun!
So on April 8th, it was discovered that one of the dead, Parker Tobin, had been misidentified by the coroner as Xavier LaBelle, who survived the crash. The reason he was misidentified was because all the hockey players had the same build to them.
Right, you have to have a certain build to play hockey.
So they looked similar enough, and whenever they're covered in bruises, and some of them are just completely out of it, in comas, or recovering, they can't say who exactly they are. So they were running entirely on either family identification, or just eyeballing it. Because it was all they could do.
Right, right.
We can't shake the shoulder of the dead person and be like, hey, what was your name?
Hey, dude, who are you?
What was your name?
I mean, I guess you could do that, but you wouldn't get much of an answer.
Yeah. Yeah, so the coroner apologized, basically being like, my bad.
Okay, I mean, you know, it's...
And obviously, the families of both were very upset.
Yeah. Like, hey, remember when I said that your kid was alive and your kid was dead? Well, funny thing about that.
Yeah. One of the survivors, Ryan Strezhnitsky, the one who sued for $13.5 million, he was paralyzed from the waist down as a result of the accident. But he told his parents he wanted to continue playing sledge hockey and compete in the Paralympic Games.
Aw, that's well, good for him.
Yeah. But he wanted that money too, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, no. Get your money, man. You get that fucking cheddar.
Yeah.
Shit like that's going down, you get that cheddar.
So the Saskatchewan Government Insurance announced on April 13th, 2018, that it had plans to improve training standards for truck drivers by 2019, as, at the time, no training was required to be done by certified schools.
Holy fucking shit, yo.
So it could be a school that says, hey, we train truck drivers. They didn't actually have to do anything.
Oh, wow. It's like a Trump university.
Exactly. So there were league tributes, both in the area of Saskatchewan and across Canada. And the final... On April 7th, in the final game of the 2017-2018 season, players of the Winnipeg Jets and Chicago Blackhawks had the Broncos name in place of their regular name bars on the back of their jerseys, and stood united in a circle at the center ice during the national anthem.
Aw.
Yeah. Canada's serious about their hockey.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, a whole bunch of small league and national hockey teams in Canada had either tributes to the Broncos team in their opening ceremonies, or they just had it on their jerseys altogether. Which... nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Another tribute, usually done by people who either knew victims or just knew of the team in general after the accident, they would place hockey sticks out on their front porches in solidarity.
That's nice.
And on June 20th, 2018, 10 survivors of the crash were honored at the 2018 National Hockey League Awards in Las Vegas. And their late head coach, Darcy Hagen, won the inaugural Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award, which is given to a person who has positively impacted their community, culture, or society through the game of hockey. And 2 days later, at the 2018 National Hockey League entry draft, the Broncos were awarded the E.J. McGuire Award of Excellence. So, hockey solidarity, man.
Tell me about it.
God, my nose!
Kayla's nose is itching really badly, everybody.
My allergies are bad. They're bad. And a crowdfunding effort was launched by Humboldt resident Sylvie Kellington within hours of the collision to help out the victims and their families, which ended up raising more than $1 million within 24 hours.
Damn.
Yeah. And $4 million by the next day.
Fucking hell.
So by April 18th, it reached $15,185,502, making it, Canada's largest GoFundMe campaign and the second largest in the history of the site.
Wow.
Hockey. Solidarity.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the first is Shenmue 3.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is just really sad when you think about it.
Yeah.
Should we do Shenmue 3 for a disaster?
No.
I don't know if I want to even do the Shenmue series. I hear it's like actually really hard to get into.
It's really hard to get into, it's incredibly long, and I don't know how much fun we can have with it.
Fair enough.
Like, that's all I've heard.
Okay, that's fair. I will take that into consideration.
So, by next month, May 17th, a committee announced that it would begin the process of distributing the funds raised through the GoFundMe campaign, and under Saskatchewan law, the money raised through a public appeal must follow regulations that include appointing a supervising judge, submitting a proposed court order for the allocation, and recommending a timeline for the distribution.
No, so you can't just like stroll up to people and be like,
Yeah.
here's money.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
I mean, fair. That's fair.
So, they were gonna equally distribute the money between survivors and families of the dead as much as they could, which ended up with the families of the deceased got $50,000 more than the survivors. Which I kind of get.
At least they didn't make them come in and like talk about how traumatized they were from losing their child, like another thing that we
and
know
actually
about.
prove that they were what
Yeah.
the fuck?
It's just Tabby Gordo.
I don't know why that thing scared me for some reason. I'm just like, okay.
I don't know why it scared you either. It's cute.
I guess I wasn't expecting it.
That's fair.
So the families of the deceased received a total of $525,000, while each survivor got $475,000.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's still pretty good.
And they don't have to worry.
Not really comparable to the feeling of, you know, losing your child and all, but...
But they also don't have to deal with the harsh medical bills that people in U.S. have to.
That's true. Hey, Bird, have you played Neo? I just got a copy and haven't played it yet. Yes, actually, I have. I haven't played it all the way through because I'm not that great at games like that, the only exception being Sekiro. But I did like it when I did play. I just kind of... Neo kind of hit me at a weird time. I have to be in a very specific kind of mood for games like Neo. That, like, build themselves on how hard they are, you know? I have to be in a very specific mood for that kind of a game. But I liked it when I did play. I just wasn't in the mood to continue it at the time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So we talked about the good GoFundMe. Let's talk about the scam that happened.
Oh, yes.
So
I was gonna say, things are getting too wholesome around here. When's the other shoe gonna drop?
A fake GoFundMe that mimicked the one that benefited the entire team was discovered and reported by a Vancouver woman.
No.
She was also suspicious that she noticed the account only had $1,300 donated, while the original had over $8 million.
Yeah, like,
Shit's weird.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute, that just don't seem right.
Yeah, families of those who died due to the accident also discovered a website with error-filled obituaries of 11 of the 16 victims. And the public could on this website purchase an online memorial candle or flowers, although the money would not be donated.
Yep.
In addition...
Oh, it gets worse.
A fake Twitter account and GoFundMe account were set up under the name of Ryan Strzelnicki.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what country you are in, people are gonna try to capitalize on the tragedy.
That is very true. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So, It was reported in July 2018 that the province, of Alberta would consult with the public and industry stakeholders about reforms on the province's trucking industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the proposed changes would include mandatory training for commercial drivers and an end to the practice of allowing companies to operate on Alberta roads for 60 days before they meet safety standards.
Like, hey guys, here's a crazy idea. Alright, stay with me on this one. We're gonna actually train our fucking drivers.
And we're gonna have them, like, be qualified for safety standards before they can drive on our roads.
Mm-hmm. I know this is a crazy idea, guys, but stay with me. I think this could really be the start of something big.
The Saskatchewan government also hired a private consulting firm to do a safety assessment of the intersection where it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the consultants noted that the existing alignment of trees, power poles, and the horizon could lead to tunnel vision for the drivers. In particular, a group of trees on private property, which obstructs the view of drivers approaching from the south and the east. Human fatigue was also considered, since motorists traveling Highway 335 could assume it's an uncontrolled intersection and overlook the stop sign, since it's the only major intersection for more than 20 kilometers in either direction.
Yeah.
So,
boom!
Okay then.
I blew him up.
I see that.
I Monty Pythoned him.
Okay. So basically what they did was they included all that, but they also put in Highway 335 rumble strips, and they widened the shoulders on the road. So they did actually enact some change instead of just
saying, oh, we'll fix that.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Canada actually did shit.
Wonder what that's like.
I don't know. And in May 2018, the Humboldt Broncos team took steps to get ready for the start of the new hockey season by looking to replace positions that had been lost in the accident.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
As well as an invitation-only camp in Saskatoon. It's weird. They played their first home game of the 2018-2019 season on September 12th against Nipawin, which was televised and put actually on the National Hockey League Network in the United States as well as Canada.
So even America was like, yeah, we'll show your hockey.
Yeah, most of the surviving players were in attendance, and following the game, the numbers of all players on the bus were formally retired from the team.
Oh.
For players who were still active or plan to return to the team, they'll keep their numbers while they're active, and it will be retired after their conclusion on the team.
Mm-hmm. Retiring a number, by the way, means that in the sports team that no one else is allowed to use the number. Just to clarify.
And
it's often a very high honor for the team member to receive that.
And as our last little tidbit, in March 2019, Logan Schatz' home of Allen, Saskatchewan, renamed its local arena to the Logan Schatz Memorial Arena.
Aww.
So that is the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. What did we learn?
Train your truckers. Dream Warrior would like safety tips in avoiding avoidable crashes in tractor trailers. The main thing that you want to do is train your trailer drivers, train your truck drivers. That's kind of the big thing here, not gonna lie.
Make sure they're actually qualified to do their job.
Yep.
You'd be surprised how far that gets you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The King's Cross Station Fire.
Fire!
Yeah, this was some shit.
Oh.
So, just tiny little bit of history. King's Cross Station
Is the place where Harry Potter gets on the Hogwarts Express.
Yes, at platform 9 3/4. Sorry.
And it was beloved right until the moment that J.K. Rowling opened her mouth and said, hey, guess what? I'm a fucking turf.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh.
So the line was opened originally January 10th, 1863. It has slowly opened to include more lines, including Piccadilly, City and South London, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. Although, I did find it interesting that the Metropolitan line platforms were closed between October 16th and December 9th of 1940 due to bomb damage from the Blitz.
That is interesting to know.
Yeah. And further bomb damage happened March 9th, 1941, when a train, the station roof, the signal box, and the platforms were damaged and 2 railway staff were killed.
So, King's Cross is no stranger to minor disasters.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket.
So, the King's Cross station fire happened at approximately 7:30.
Oh no, we're getting we're getting exact with the timestamps.
7:30 p.m. on November 18th, 1987.
Oh boy.
At the King's Cross St. Pancras tube station.
You wanna know something crazy? 1987 was almost 40 years ago.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Feel old yet?
Not really.
I was talking to the chat.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like I've aged pretty great. I feel like I've gotten hotter as I've aged, to be honest with you.
That's
Maybe
because
it's just I've just grown more into myself.
I was about to say you've grown more confident and more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. Confidence is sexy. Women like that.
Fair enough. So, the tube station has subsurface platforms for the Metropolitan Circle and Hammersmith and City lines. And the deeper underground are the platforms for the Northern Line City Branch and the Piccadilly and Victoria lines.
Mm-hmm.
An escalator shaft led down to the Victoria line, and another led down to the Piccadilly line. And from that to the Northern line. So we got a couple layers, and we got escalators.
Alright.
Stairs connected the Piccadilly and Victoria line platforms, and from these there was a subway to King's Cross, Thameslink railway station platforms. If I'd pronounced it any worse, I would have been lynched. Jesus. So, at approximately 7:30 p.m., several passengers reported seeing a fire on a Piccadilly line escalator. Officers of the British Transport Police, BTP, and station staff were sent to investigate, and on confirming the fire, one of the policemen went to the surface to radio for the London Fire Brigade, because their radios didn't work underground.
Oh, great. You feel like that might be a little bit of a bug in your safety features?
Yep. Maybe? Who knows?
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
So the London Fire Brigade immediately sent out 4 fire appliances and a turntable ladder at 7:36 p.m. The fire was beneath the escalator, and it was impossible to reach with a fire extinguisher.
Oof.
There was water fog equipment, but the staff had not been trained to use it.
Oh my god.
So the BTP officers made the decision to evacuate the station at 7:39 p.m. using the Victoria Line escalators. The fire brigade and several firemen did eventually go down the escalator to access the fire, but the fire was about the size of a large cardboard box, and they planned to fight it with a water jet using men with breathing apparatuses.
How well did that go?
Well,
not great, Bob. Not great.
By 7:42, the entire escalator was on fire.
So yeah, not great, Bob. Not great.
But wait, it gets worse.
Oh god, here we go. It's oh boy.
This produced superheated gas that rose to the top of the shaft, enclosing the escalator, where it was trapped against the tunnel ceiling, which was covered with about 20 layers of old paint from past repainting.
Oh boy.
But wait, it gets worse.
Oh boy.
So the gas is pulled along the ceiling of the escalator shaft, and the paint began absorbing the heat.
As paint is wont to do.
Yep. But wait, it's a little bit worse. A few years before the fire, the Underground's director was warned that the accumulation of paint might pose as a fire hazard. And now
he said fire hazard, schmire hazard.
Yeah, but he said it in a really polite and kind of posh way.
Fire hazard, a schmire hazard.
Yeah. He actually said painting protocols were not in his purview, and his suggestion was widely ignored by his colleagues.
Oh, great.
He literally said, that's not my job.
Wow. Not by circus, not by monkeys.
Yep.
I hate that expression so fucking much.
Well, I know what expression I'm gonna use.
I'll hit you.
Worth it.
It'll actually hurt if I hit you, you know.
Worth it. I'll actually feel something for once. That got dark. But wait, it gets worse. At 7:45, there was a flashover, which is where fire quickly spreads across a big surface. With nothing stopping.
Master of the universe.
There was a flashover and a jet of flames shot up the escalator shaft, which filled the ticket hall with heat and black smoke.
Oh.
Yeah, it's... With this black smoke and this fire, it's seriously killing and injuring a lot of people still in the ticket hall. Which is where a lot of the deaths happened.
That's interesting because, like, whenever there's, like, a station accident and shit like that, you kind of expect the people that are on the mode of transportation to be the ones who get hurt.
No,
they're,
were
like,
fine.
stuck.
No, they were fine.
They're just, like, flying through, just like, I say, Bertha, does it feel hot in here to you?
I don't know, I'm not used to heat. We live in London where it rains all the time.
I literally don't know what that is, Claude.
What is the sun? And now, on top of the Canadian viewers, we have lost anyone from London who watches us.
I'm pretty sure Minx already went live, so we probably lost them a little while ago.
Eh.
Anyway.
No, she's not live.
Oh, well.
They just didn't want to watch us.
You know what? Fair play.
So, you remember how you were talking about how you thought people on the actual mode of transportation would be the ones in the most danger?
Yeah.
No, it's the people, like, waiting on the platform who are in the most danger, because now...
that makes sense.
Because now the several hundred people below ground are trapped because they can't get up now.
Oh, fuck.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's not gonna go well.
Yeah. A lot of them did manage to escape on Victoria Line trains, which I assumed they were getting on being like, well, this isn't the train that I was here to get, but I suppose this is my only option now.
Well, I suppose you just have to do what you got to do. In you go. In you go, chaps.
Keep calm and carry on and all that.
Mind the gap.
A police constable, Richard Kukielka, found a seriously injured man and tried to evacuate him via the Midland City platforms, but the way was blocked by a locked Bostwick gate until it was unlocked by a passing cleaner.
And the cleaner just had, what's that door doing locked? I'll take care of that. Open that up. Alright. Hip hip, cheerio.
Yeah, staff and a policewoman trapped on a Metropolitan line platform were rescued by a train. So the trains were actually the ones saving them right now.
Wow. They got on that train, they went, fuck you, Mussolini!
And
let me see how many English stereotypes I could cram into this story.
At 10 p.m., the full horror of the fire blaze was evident, and the death toll jumped to 28 people.
I feel like the full horror of the fire blaze has been evident for a while now.
It has, but this is only whenever they first reported it.
Okay, fair enough.
So 30 fire crews, which was over 150 firefighters, were deployed, along with 14 ambulances to ferry the injured to local hospitals. And the fire was declared out at 1:46 a.m. the following morning. Only 31 people ended up dying in the fire.
That fucking shocks me. I did not expect you to say that.
Yep.
I was expecting a close to 100 death count.
Well, 100 people were taken to the hospital, and only 19 had serious injuries.
That genuinely shocks me.
You jump on a train fast enough, it'll save your ass.
Fuck you, Mussolini! You fucking trains! See, trains run on time now, bitch!
So the London Fire Brigade station officer, Colin Townsley, he was in charge of the first pump fire engine to arrive at the scene, and he was down at the ticket hall at the time of the flashover. He was killed in the fire, and his body was found beside that of a badly burnt passenger at the base of the exit steps.
Oof.
Yeah. And it's believed that he had saw the passenger having difficulty and stopped to help her, which ended up killing him.
Oh.
Also, we actually identified a body as late as 2004. This happened in, like, the 1980s.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably difficult to identify bodies that are extra crispy.
So body 115 was identified January 22nd, 2004 as 73-year-old Alexander Fallon of Falkirk, Scotland. I assume it was a DNA match that they finally did, or possibly dental records.
Could be either or, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, there are still victims of Gacy that we've never identified.
That is true.
So, the ticket hall and platforms for the Metropolitan and Circle lines were undamaged, and they actually reopened the next morning.
I was just about to ask if they I was literally just about to ask that.
And the Victoria line, with its escalators only slightly damaged, resumed normal operations the following Tuesday.
Fucking hell. Keep calm and carry on indeed.
Yeah, the ticket hall for the 3 tube lines was opened in stages over the next 4 weeks, and the 3 escalators for the Piccadilly line had to be completely replaced.
Escalators, escalators, escalators!
Yeah. Yeah, you could only... It took them about 16 months after the fire to fully have them replaced, and until then, the Piccadilly line could only be reached via the Victoria line or the Midland City platforms, and at peak hours in one direction only. You had to really plan out your day to get to Piccadilly.
So, it was a one-way?
Yes.
What does that mean when it's a one-way?
It means that because of how many bodies are in the station and crowding onto a platform, you can't really go against the grain. They will physically stop you from doing that because they're all going in one direction.
Baby, you light up my world like nobody else!
Jesus Christ almighty, you scared me!
You okay?
Oh. Don't fucking touch me.
Sorry. I couldn't help it.
So public inquiry was initiated by Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, fuck her. Kayla mentioned that was one way, and I said, "What does that mean?" And she started explaining. I said, "So what does that mean?" She said, "It means they can only go one direction." And I cut her off and yelling, "Baby, you light up my world like nobody else."
And they're allowing you to teach people.
I know, right? Oh God.
You proud of yourself?
Kind of, yeah, not gonna lie. I really had to, like, be patient to make that joke work.
I had no...
But it was worth it.
I was like,
Yeah,
did you miss what I was saying?
Kind of helps that I asked clarifying questions, like, so that things can get clarified for the audience that I might know about, but the audience might not.
God damn it.
The whole chat right now is like, fuck you, Bird.
As is deserved.
Yes, that's very much deserved.
So Margaret Thatcher ordered an immediate inquiry.
Fuck her.
So they heard 91 days of evidence between February 1st, 1988 and June 24th. So, smoking on underground trains was banned in July of 1984.
Wow, who'd have thunk it?
Over 3 years before the fire.
Huh. How well was that being enforced before the fire, is my question.
Well,
I'm glad you asked.
Smokers often ignored this rule and lit cigarettes on the escalators on their way out.
I'm guessing that probably got a little bit more strictly enforced after this.
Yeah. See, the inquiry found the fire was most likely caused by a traveler discarding a burning match that fell down the side of the wooden escalator.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so...
See, y'all, this is why smokers have basically lost all of their rights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't like this.
So, because of this, they were able to say, okay, this fire wasn't started deliberately, there was no accelerant, it was just... shit happened. The investigators actually found charred wood in 8 places on a section of the skirting of the escalator, which showed that 8 different fires could have possibly started because there was clearly, like, evidence of them starting. And it's like, it's only by the grace of God that they didn't have a fire like this any earlier.
There, but for the grace of God, go we.
Yep.
Smokers, the second largest source of fires after the dumbasses with gender reveal parties.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to find a gender reveal party disaster to talk about. Just so I can complain about gender reveal parties.
Let me put it on the list. Keep talking while I open up the list.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I just have a lot of problems with gender reveal parties for a lot of really, really obvious reasons. And also, just, like, not even because, it's not even really getting into the whole, you know, kids' gender is more determined by their own personality, and it can be ever fluid and changing and things like that. It's not even necessarily about that, it's just gender reveal parties are really fucking annoying. They're just really goddamn annoying. You are literally holding a giant party just to grin at everybody and say, I saw my embryo's penis.
Or a vagina.
Yeah. Like, that's just, you know, that's really all you're doing whenever you think about it. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know, I've only been to one gender reveal party.
I've been to 2. Yeah, I would have a gender reveal party and then just, like, everything would be green.
Green for a lizard?
Yeah. So it's a shape-shifting reptile. It's a velociraptor.
It's gonna run the government one day.
There's a Netflix show about that that's actually really, really good. There's a Netflix show called Inside Job, and I really do recommend it, everybody. It's called Inside Job, and, like, you know all those, like, crazy conspiracy theories that you hear about a shadow government secretly running everything and everything actually being, like, played out by people in that shadow government?
Yes.
Okay, so Inside Job assumes that all of that is real.
Okay.
And it's basically, it's American Dad, except it's more clever with the jokes. And, like, the main character in the pilot is this very no-nonsense woman who, like, she gets shit done, but, like, basically people are like, oh, well, you're not nice enough. That's literally an issue. And so instead of just her being promoted to take over, which is what she was expecting, they promote this other totally random mediocre white dude to, like, basically be the co-leader, more or less. And it let me be clear. The guy is actually he's very annoying in the first episode. I'm just like, oh god. But he's actually a genuinely good person. And even he's like, this is complete and utter bullshit. She actually knows what she's doing. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And he's actually a good person, which means that he does not do well in an environment where literally he is a shadow government whose entire job is to manipulate things and undermine democracy at every turn.
Fair enough.
It's a really, really good show. Very much recommend it. And then, Adventure Beasts? Adventure Beasts is the other one. That's one you gotta see. Jordan, that's the one you gotta see. It's on Netflix, and it's based on an actual guy who, like, is a zoologist, like a field zoologist. And it actually talks about a lot of very interesting animal facts. And it's all animated, and they're, like, trying to help the animals. And they get the shit kicked out of them all the time because they're wild fucking animals. It's really, really good. Like, there's one whole episode called It's a Queer World, where it basically gets into how basically everything in the animal kingdom is queer. And it says the word queer! And that makes me really happy. I'm like, fuck, yes! The main female character is bisexual and polyamorous.
Nice. So, the start of the fire was from a thrown, still slightly lit match that was tossed on the escalator as someone was going out. But the accelerant of it was found to be...
yeah, because you need an accelerant.
Yeah, there was a buildup of lubricant grease under the tracks.
Yeah.
It was difficult to ignite, and it was slow to burn once it started, but the grease was heavily impregnated. That's how it's phrased.
Okay.
With fibrous materials, aka fluff from clothes, tickets, small litter, human hair, rat fur, tons of stuff in there.
Kindling!
Yep.
What do you need for a fire?
Kindling.
Accelerant and a catalyst.
Yep. Yeah, so that's how the fire started. Someone dropped a match, and it happened to drop on this very heavily covered grease pile.
It literally was a perfect storm.
Yep. Yeah, so a test confirmed what the initial eyewitnesses reported, but 4 expert witnesses couldn't agree as to how the small fire flashed over, with some concern that the paint used on the ceiling had contributed. And a model...
That would turn out to be a very prescient concern.
A model of King's Cross Station was actually built at the Atomic Energy Research Establishment using computer simulation software that showed the flames lying down along the floor of the escalator rather than burning vertically, before producing a jet of flame into the ticket hole.
Oh, god damn it. I fucking love engineers, because they'll just be like, we need to figure something out, let's make a fucking model about it.
Pretty much. I mean, they did it with bridges, they've done it with planes, why not do it with a major station fire?
Yeah. I fucking hate you so much. 30 fucking cocks I just shoved down your throat, and you still ain't dead? Fuck you. I'm gonna find some more cock to shove down your throat. You! Go away! You! Go away! And you as well.
So the metal sides of the escalator actually served to contain the flames and direct the temperature ahead of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, wooden stairs, metal sides to contain it. And it just traveling up the stairs like your average smoker.
No, Raven, I'm gonna need about tree fitty. And then when I realized I was talking to a giant monster from the Cretaceous period.
So, the London Underground...
I was like, I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. You don't deserve that.
The London Underground were strongly criticized in the report for their attitudes to fires underground, underestimating the hazard.
There's always some people, there's always a moment where someone's getting warned and they're like, it's not a big deal.
underestimating the hazard because no one had died in a fire in the underground before. It hasn't killed anyone yet, so it's not a problem.
It's like whenever they say, well, there's no recorded instance of a killer whale in the wild murdering a human. It's like, I'm not looking to be the first, man!
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, y'all, if a sea lion jumps on your boat and it's being followed by 3 orcas that are, like, being all, organized and shit with hunting it, and they start circling your boat, y'all, you do whatever you can to get that sea lion off that boat. You kick that motherfucker off the back of the boat and you drive off saying it's the circle of life. Save yourself.
You know what? I'm gonna give that little joke there all the attention that it deserves. So anyway, the publication of the report led to resignations of senior management in the London Underground and London Regional Transport. So people, they weren't fired, but they resigned after that shit.
It was basically resign or we're gonna fire you.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so wood paneling was removed from escalators, heat detectors and sprinklers were fitted beneath the escalators, and a radio communication system and station staff emergency training were to be improved. Like, hey, let's actually get some way of communicating underground.
Might be a good thing to have.
You know, since we are the London Underground.
Yeah.
Might be helpful to talk to each other.
Oh shit, we're a little too far underground.
The fire precautions regulations were actually introduced in 1989, a couple years after this. We only got safety regulations after it. Hey, it's how it goes, man.
That's true.
Smoking was banned in all London Underground stations, including the escalators.
And actually enforced this time?
Actually enforced about 5 days after the fire. And like I said, the wooden escalators were gradually replaced, but some remained into the early 2000s. It was only as of 2014 the entire London Underground was operating on metal escalators.
Wheel of progress. Turn, turn, turn. And then the wheel of progress goes, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
I started thinking that whenever people call asking for an estimate on... So, if you want a flooring estimate, somebody has to come out and actually measure the size of the area that you're wanting the flooring. I can't just give you an estimate. We gotta get somebody out there. So whenever there's like, no, I don't want to schedule an appointment, I want an estimate. And I have to bite down on the urge to go, okay, I'll get you your estimate. Hang on. Wheel of Fortune. Turn, turn, turn. Because I might as well just throw something at a dartboard. That's about as good as that's about as good as my guess is gonna be.
Yeah. My nose is gonna be so red.
Yeah, it is.
So by 1997, the majority of the recommendations had been implemented, including the removal of any hazardous materials. I don't exactly know what that entails because they won't specify. They had CCTV fitted in stations, they installed fire alarms, and they issued personal radios to staff.
Okay.
So again, they didn't have to jump up a whole bunch of stairs and possibly find a payphone to ring up.
Probably a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Just tell them it's gonna be the biggest measurement. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Kayla is like practically ripping her nose off. She's scratching.
I want to kill it!
But then how will you smell things?
I don't know, her stepmom doesn't smell things and she's still alive, so I guess it's fine.
Is she living though is the question.
I don't know. I don't ask. Not my business.
Fair enough.
So, the Underground was also recommended by the Fennell Report to investigate, quote, passenger flow and congestion in stations and take remedial action. So, what this really did was the London Underground expanded the busiest and most congested stations and made it so, oh, we're still getting the same number of people, but they're not ass to ass.
Yeah, I guess that's probably a good thing to do. Yeah.
The fire also led an improvement in firefighters' equipment. Yellow plastic leggings that melted in the heat and rubber gloves that limited movement were replaced with, fireproof clothing.
What?
Because, I want to wear rubber whenever I'm going into...
Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought that was a good idea in the first place.
I don't know either.
It's like, you guys know that we're firefighters, right? Meaning we're gonna go into fire. You know what happens whenever, plastic meets fire?
I do, but I'm a pyromaniac.
Oh, there's a very funny joke in, Inside Job where they're, it's the first episode. They are on the way to, it's mission critical. It's very, very serious. I don't want to get too into it because it's a really good episode. But, mission critical, they're on their way as fast as they can go, and the idiot is the one who's packed the go bag. And she starts looking in there, and she's like, what the fuck? What did you include? This is a flag pin that deregisters you to vote? And then she pulls out a can of jet fuel, and she says, this can't melt anything! It's very funny jokes the whole way through.
I believe you. Let's see. 6 firemen actually received certificates of commendation for their actions in the fire, including Station Officer Townsley, who was given the award posthumously.
Aww.
Yeah. Also, memorial plaques commemorating the disaster were installed at St. Pancras Church, unveiled by the Princess of Wales, and at King's Cross Station. I remember seeing this plaque at the station. Because it's underneath the gold clock that gives you the time of whenever it actually happened.
Oh. The exact time.
Yeah.
Which is always a great thing to hear whenever you're getting ready to talk about a disaster. It's like, oh boy, this shit's gonna be fucking insane.
Yep.
And I've never been wrong about that.
My nose is not gonna make it to the end of the day.
No, it's not.
And, fun fact, there actually was a Nick Lowe song created called Who Was That Man? From the 1990 album Party of One that tells the story of the only unidentified victim of the King's Cross station fire. It was the same one who was later identified in 2004.
Oh. Well, thanks for calling attention to it, guys.
Yeah.
Well done, chaps.
And that's the King's Cross station fire. What did we learn?
Not a goddamn thing.
Actually enforce smoking bans?
Yeah? Smoky ban no worky if you know enforcey.
Yeah. So I had a job interview that was full of red flags this week.
Please share the story of your job interview.
So I applied to be a receptionist at a rehab / old folks home facility.
Mm-hmm.
It was just gonna be a part-time job, but I was like, you know what, it's better than nothing. I still need money.
Mm-hmm.
They did not list how much I was going to be paid on the listing, but I was like, you know what? They emailed me the same day saying, hey, we can interview you. And I was too excited to really care about it at that point.
Yeah. It's like, well, they've got availability right now for an interview, so we'll talk about that whenever we get in there.
Yes. So I went into this interview, and the most Karenist Karen of Karens came out with a clipboard to talk to me and interview me.
Did she have a bob haircut?
She did not have a bob haircut, but she had the shoulder-length, clearly dyed blonde haircut.
Ooh. Karen ahoy.
Yeah. You know, she started off real nice. Like, hi, how are you? Is everything okay? I'm like, oh, it's okay.
You were in
fine.
high spirits, much like the sailors of the Franklin expedition?
Yes, I was in high spirits. I was like, ooh, the prospect of a job after months of nothing. Yay.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
So, we start off the interview with standard things of like, here's what your responsibilities would be. Here's a general idea of when you would be working.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, you're only going to be part-time, so unfortunately you're not entitled to the benefits of this facility.
Which is like...
like, it sucks.
fucking capitalism.
Yeah, like, it sucks, but you know what? I was kind of expecting that when I was only going to be hired part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Then she said, oh, but we're going to work you at least 28 hours a week.
Oh, so right under the line of part-time.
Well, actually, I looked this up. North Carolina part-time hours are 20 hours or less.
Oh! So...
Red flag number 1.
Yeah, that's definitely a red flag.
We're gonna work you almost full-time hours, but we're gonna have you listed as part-time and not give you any benefits. Also, that 28 hours is on top of the required third weekend of every month where you're working 12 hours on Saturday and then 12 hours on Sunday.
Okay.
Which would be about 50-ish hours that week.
Yeah, that'd be about 50 hours that week.
You're still part-time.
Because they're not working you a certain number, that amount of time, a certain number of hours. Would you get overtime for that? Did they ever mention that?
I would not.
Oh, no.
Nope.
No.
You're mainly going to work second shift, which is between 2 and 8 and 4 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also going to be helping out the nurses with dinner responsibilities for the older guests. On top of having to be at the front desk and greeting people coming in to see their loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
You still need to work the phone, so you have this cordless one, but it doesn't get signal in every single part of the building.
Okay, it's
so
not
you'll
very
have to run
effective.
back up to the front desk to check your emails and your phone to see if you missed anything. And immediately get back to them. Also on top of this, we run labs for certain guests here. So you're going to have to take some information down to the medical facility, which is 1.5 miles down the road. And no, we're not going to compensate you for gas.
At the very least, they did not immediately state that they'd be compensating you for gas. And when they don't volunteer that information, it's because they ain't compensating you.
Yep. Yeah, so on top of running a phone at the front desk and allowing guests into our facility, checking them in, making sure that they can be taken care of. Also, we have periods where we go into complete lockdown if we get a positive COVID test from one of our people, which is people will still come in to visit their family members. They can only go outside and have them, but if they bring something for their family members, you have to take that to that person's room and then immediately run back to the front desk.
So, well, then what's the point of the lockdown?
Yeah. Yep.
It's not a lockdown. That's a maybe down.
You're also going to have to do all the mail for the facility, so you have to check the mailbox, you have to sort through it, and then you have to distribute it to the appropriate people all around the facility.
Mm-hmm.
Again, while still doing the front desk work the entire time.
I keep getting these letters. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I checked this box, but it's all fucking boxes. Pepe Sylvia.
Yep. Oh, also, we did not list how much you were going to be paid, and whenever you ask me that, I'm going to ask, well, how much were you looking to get paid?
It's like, you see, that's always a red flag whenever somebody asks that.
Well, how much are you looking at? I'm like, well,
$20 an hour, bitch.
Yeah,
we'll play this game.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I was paid almost $13 an hour at my last job. Yeah, we're not going to match that, but we'll give you a little bit more than minimum wage.
Like, minimum wage in North Carolina is like $9.
We'll maybe give you $9.50 if we want to hire you.
We'll give you $9.01.
Also, we are not at all going to tell you what we're going to pay you because we want to determine if we want to hire you. We don't want to tell you unless we're sure we're going to hire you.
It's like, okay, well, you know that in a job interview, the employee is also interviewing
Yep.
the job. Are you aware of that? This isn't just a one-way street. The employee is also determining whether or not the job is a suitable job.
Yeah, they mentioned they had a very high turnover rate for this position.
I wonder why.
The lady who was interviewing me said, well, if we do hire you, which you don't look like a troublemaker, I'm pretty good at picking those out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, you seem to be very good at picking that out, considering the high turnover rate here.
That always, whenever somebody says, I'm great at picking out troublemakers, I have to bite down on the ears to go, oh, so you go ahead and make pre-assumed judgments on people without actually getting to know them first? That's kind of concerning. Not gonna lie. I'm pretty good at... I've got a fairly decent grasp on people, too, and in my experience, that's a red flag.
Hell of a red flag. There you go, you finally did it.
I killed it.
So she said that. And she said, so I'm gonna be the one training you. Now, I'll be happy to help you out, and I can, answer if you gotta ask a question a couple times, maybe once or twice.
How generous of you.
But do not ever tell me I did not tell you something. My memory is a snap. I know if I told you something.
Okay. So, okay.
Yep.
Don't break your arm patting yourself on the back there, buddy.
Yeah, she was very proud of herself. And she also said...
You just know that this is that kind of chick who's, like, all over her Facebook talking about, haha, I made my employee cry. Well, she better listen to me next time. Hashtag girl boss. Hashtag boss bitch.
She also mentioned, well, I worked at that position for 6 years, and now here I am, director of medical records, and I'm like, okay.
Good for you.
Like, she was so fucking proud of it.
I'm
like, whatever.
Alright, I mean, happy for you, I guess. You seem very proud of that, so...
Yep. But yeah, I had to finish filling out a form and give it to the lady running the front desk, the receptionist one, whose job I would be taking over. And I handed it to her, and she's like, oh, what were you applying for? I said, well, I was looking to be a receptionist job, and she just leaned over and quietly said, don't do it.
Wow.
Don't do it. I'm like, because again, the question was never answered in the interview. I asked, how much does this position pay exactly? They're only offering me part-time. She said $9.50. And I'm like, wow, that's nowhere close to a living wage.
So when she said don't do it, was that the point where you said, yeah, I'm probably not going to?
Yeah, I told her, yeah, I was kind of getting a weird feeling from the woman interviewing me, and she's like, was it this person? I was like, yeah, because the regular person was stuck on a phone call, and she said, yeah.
There is no regular person. There's never a phone call. It's just her. She has multiple personalities. Sometimes she'll come in dressed completely different and say she's someone else.
Well, she mentioned that, like, she's the one who kind of oversees the entire job and micromanages a bit. And I'm like, oh, God.
Hey, Soft and Fluffy, how you doing?
Hi.
We're talking about a disastrous job interview as just a wrap-up for our DisasterCast for today.
I think the biggest disappointment and biggest disaster was the fact that you saw me. I was so fucking excited for
you
the
were very excited just to have an
interview.
just to have an interview so that to see if you could get a job. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Soft and Fluffy. And also the fact that like let everybody know what she said whenever you pointed out that was a pretty high turnover rate.
Well, the young people this day and age just don't have the right work ethic to take over and do this kind of job. That was the biggest red flag.
I think I really do think that that customer care has just broke something inside of me. Because I don't know if I would have been able to resist her, stand up and go, yeah, you're right, we're lazier and well, shit, well, I better get going. I only had little bit of time to set aside for this interview, and now I must be off to my nap before I'm gonna have me a Tide Pod snack before I go take a nap.
Yeah, she mentioned that young people don't have the right work ethic to do jobs these days, and it took everything in my power not to scream. Maybe we just want to be paid a livable wage so we don't have to cram six people into a small apartment just to survive.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I guess it is hard to find somebody who's willing to work for $9.50 an hour. I imagine that is pretty difficult.
Yep.
Don't know how y'all deal with that.
Yep. So yeah, that was my disastrous job interview from Friday. It was... And they had some weird questions on the packet that they told me to fill out.
Ooh, do tell.
Well, one of them, the one I'm still thinking about was, okay, so list the name, phone number, and address of 3 people you are not related to that you have known for more than 2 years.
What?
Yeah. And also list how many years you have known them.
I would just be fucking making shit up at that point.
I listed my stepdad, my boyfriend, and his sister.
Yeah, 1273 Munsters Avenue.
Pretty much. It just... Everything about it was just made of red flags. Oh, and she also mentioned at one point, you know, this used to be a privately owned building, but now we're part of a company. And I'm just like, and there it is.
Oh, boy.
Here it is.
I'm sure that your patients are super thrilled about that.
Yeah, when I asked her for a firm number about payment, she's like, well, at this job, you really
It's a calling! Did she say it's a calling?
Yep.
Yep.
It's a calling, and you get paid more with the experience of knowing the people here.
She literally said, we will pay you an experience.
You get to know the people here, and you get to understand and meet some of the best people you could ever meet at this job.
I actually know a lot of old folks, and I would disagree. Old folks are assholes.
Most of the time they are. I could hear a lady yelling the entire time that I was there.
She's just like, you really get paid in the wealth of amazing people that you meet at this job, and then in the background you just hear, Sarah, I swear to God, you better bring me the right pudding cup this time, or else I'm gonna shove it up your ass and lick it out that way. It's like, yep.
No, it was just an old lady yelling, oh God, help me, Jesus, oh God,
oh, even better,
help me.
Oh God, even better, just like,
over an hour.
Is she okay?
I did ask that. I'm like, should someone go help?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, she does that all the time. And I'm like, that's not comforting.
Like, that's concerning.
Like, does that mean she needs constant help that she's not getting?
Like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, you get to meet a lot of good people here. You get to meet some bad ones. You get to meet some people who are just straight buttholes, but the good people always outweigh it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm sure you feel that way. Are they gonna pay my bills? Are they gonna give me food?
Are those people gonna pay my bills?
Are they gonna give me food?
Do you guys even have like little things where like the company brings food? Cause my last job did that, and my last job was kind of shit too, but you know, at least they gave me food.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta be a lot of good people to outweigh her entitled ass. But yeah, that was my bad job interview. That was so bad that our dad, who has been on my ass for months about getting a job, even though I've been trying my absolute damnedest, said, no, that doesn't sound like a good position. That sounded bad for you. Like, you should avoid that. I'm like, wow, I was expecting you to say, well, everywhere you work, it's gonna be work. So you just gotta deal with it.
Says the guy who's worked for family his entire life.
Exactly! That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
I mean, I'm not pretending like there weren't some hard days working in the rental business, but I knew I was very fucking lucky that I was like working with family, and the work was really more based off of this is what needs to get done today. As long as you get it done, that's you get paid for the day, not for the hours.
Yep.
Basically.
Yep.
And I'll admit there were definitely upsides to that I definitely enjoyed, and I enjoyed the flexible scheduling because I could just start the day a little bit later knowing that I could still get it done, and it was still a successful day of work. And I'll freely admit I did enjoy that flexibility, but, you know, it doesn't that's the thing. There were still rough days, but I was working for family, and I definitely had leeway that I would not have got, that I do not get at my current job.
Yep.
That said, though, I gotta be honest, I do think overall, I like Lowe's more.
The structure and stability can be pretty good.
That's the thing. The structure and the stability and just, like, having benefits is very nice.
Being able to have health insurance through a company.
Yeah, it is nice to have that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I guess I've cucked to the system.
Are you allowed to say that on Twitch?
I think that's okay because I'm talking about myself.
I am.
Like, I'm not using it to insult anybody else, I'm talking about myself.
Is Twitch gonna know the difference?
I don't know.
Well, that's the last DisasterCast stream.
Alright, well, next week we move to YouTube. Still horrified that you do not have health insurance as a patient. Seriously.
Nope. I do not have health insurance. I cannot go and see my therapist right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is, for me, structure and a set weekly schedule, this is when you come in, this is when you do your job, is actually really good for my anxiety.
Yep.
Because having structure is very, very beneficial for me.
Yeah. It's very nice to know when you're coming in, how many hours you're working, and that you can leave your work at work.
Yeah, that's another big thing that I really enjoy. So, any other red flags? She, like, came home and immediately started telling me about the interview, and I just, like, slowly looked more and more horrified as she continued.
That's all I can remember right now.
I was at the last day of my training, and I actually didn't have to do phones because since I'd just gotten word that I was accepted for moderator and I had accepted the position, my facilitator was like, I have got, like, a shit ton of meetings I've got to do. And it was it was not like, he wasn't, like, just fobbing work off. They were things that he really did have to do, like new hire calls and things like that, which you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I do not want to leave the one moderator we have completely by yourself. How comfortable do you feel with this stuff? I was like, I feel pretty good about it. He said, do you want to
answer questions?
Answer questions? I said, yeah, can I do that? He said, yeah. And I'm really, really grateful that he gave me that opportunity, because I told him I was going to accept the position.
Mm-hmm. And he was very happy.
Yeah, but I hadn't officially accepted it yet. Having that moment of getting to, like, basically do a moderator's work for a little while, that really drove it home for me, like, yes, this is what I want to be doing right now. I mean, in a couple years, I'll want to do something else. I want to, like, I don't want to stay in one place and stay stagnant. But it was like, yes, right now, this right here, this is what I want. So, that was a really cool feeling. So, the second that I got a break, I immediately fired off my acceptance.
Good. Yeah, Izzy, here in the good old US of A, we don't get that.
I was unemployed for 2 years. Not only did I keep my insurance, which meant I could see my therapist once a month, I also got benefits like free advice sessions with the job agency, and I got paid at least a little money for gas and groceries while I live with my dad. Yeah, we don't get that shit.
I have to go out and run DoorDash and Instacart deliveries in order to squeeze together enough money to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we've about,
That's my sad life.
I think we've about come to the conclusions we can come to today. I think that's about it for today's DisasterCast. Stick around. We're gonna raid Minx as usual.
What's our message?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. What's the raid message?
Don't work for experience.
I don't know. Hey guys, what do y'all think? Would y'all like as the raid message?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the US, depending on how you get terminated, it's basically you get jack shit.
I had to quit mine because I literally suffered a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And our dad was encouraging me, whenever you can, maybe you should apply back to that place. Maybe they'll take you back.
They would not have, I'm gonna be honest. There's a very good likelihood that they wouldn't have.
wasn't fired because of a mental health breakdown. I left.
Yeah, we left. What should our raid message be?
Exposure doesn't pay bills. Experience doesn't pay bills.
That's true. Experience doesn't pay bills.
Why did wooden escalators exist? Why did they exist?
I don't know. King's Cross is lit, fam.
There you go.
There's our raid message. King's Cross is lit, fam. That's our raid message, everybody. So go ahead and take a bit. Hang on, I'm going to type it in the chat. Alright, King's Cross Station is lit, fam. And then we're gonna do. Hang on. We're gonna put a little emoji on this just to really cap it off. Let me copy that for me. Alright, here's the raid message, everybody. Go ahead and take a minute and copy that. And I'm gonna get the raid queued up. Raid Drinks Show. Alright, I'm gonna... If I feel good enough to stream tomorrow, we will start Stubbs the Zombie. If we don't start it tomorrow, we'll start it on Saturday.
Depends on how the 5G works out.
Yeah, depends on how the 5G works out. I already do kind of feel tired, so I might take a nap after this. Alright, everybody, jump into that raid message. Hopefully, I will see you all tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Stubbs the Zombie. If not, we'll start it on Saturday, but either way, we will still stream on Saturday. We either have 3 streams today, this week, or 2 streams this week. Alright, everybody. I do appreciate y'all coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.